Hello, everybody. How are we all doing today? Make sure my audio is actually
It's my
working.
great honor this morning to introduce.
There we go. On my way to a local furry event, you are having. Oh, did we already get. Oh, hello, gamers. Sorry, I thought you said Raiders. I'm like, what the? I just started. Oh, hell yeah, Reduct. Well, I'm sorry you're poor about it, but that is wonderful. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's been a rough I don't know, it's been a weird rough week for me because I've gotten a lot of work done, but not a lot of the work that I wanted to get done for the channel, which is very frustrating. Um because there's been just a bunch of other bullshit happening in my life. And yeah, if y'all would like to, by the way, I would appreciate Ko-Fi donations if anybody would want to give some money so I don't overdraft before the next check hits because, like I said, of bullshit. But I am still working on a post mortem for the Freedom 250 event. It has been hard to, in addition to everything else, it's been hard to find energy to do a lot of this stuff, or at least do it in a way that still has a any kind of humor to it. Because I'll be honest with y'all, uh, it's y'all know I am not one for doom and gloom, but it is looking rough out here for Americans, for Canadians too, but for really Americans. Johnny Viral, thank you very much. If y'all would like to give a couple bucks, that can help keep me and my partner fed, keep us able to pay some of our bills. I would appreciate donating at the Ko-Fi link that goes right into our account so we don't have to wait. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I will. Awesome, Stella. I will open that on stream. Is the Ko-Fi pinned in Twitch chat? It is Nort. It is Nort. Let me see. Oh, Alphabet Soup. Thank you very much. WB Belated. And NBTNC, thank you for 5 hours. Greetings from Egypt. Hell yeah. IBM almost died 2 days ago because their stock crashed hard after some AI fuck up. That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. Awesome, Stella. Thank you very much for posting the Ko-Fi link in the Twitch chat. And thank you, Ivan Against Cuisine. My share of bucks will go through Patreon. I appreciate it. SpaceX launch scrubbed at the very end of Countdown. Fucking great. SpaceX, by the way, the SpaceX stock has been cratering, which is so funny to me. It was the thing that everybody was like, "Oh no, Musk is a billionaire." No, sorry, trillionaire. Um, and he didn't even really get to enjoy it that much because it dipped above like 200 and then now it's back down to basically, I think it's now starting to go beneath the IPO opening. So like where the stock debuted, it is now lower than that, which isn't. Warren Buffett came out and said something the other day about like, hey, yeah, the economy's not great because nobody wants to fucking gamble and everything is gambling right now. Like you can't have so much of this fake dumb money bullshit we make with the stock market hinges on the idea that it's real. So if you continue to just treat everything like it's all made up, like we're just playing with play money that only the richest people can play with, then the stock market and the economy is just going to keep getting fucking worse, which is what Trump is doing. Like we have had so many fucking pump and dumps that like, and this is, by the way, on top of everything else, on top of the tariffs, on top of the oil markets, on top of our oil reserves drying up, being used up, I should say. The fucking one of the things I wanted to talk about today, what was the Trump? Probably one of the, we'll go to this really quick. Look, we've covered a lot of shit. Yeah, whatever. Oh my fucking God. Get me out of here. Everything. Oh, I'm sorry. I just got done dealing with like updates to my computer and stuff, so my patience for like tech today is at an all-time fucking low. I hate that, Brad. I just hate that everything is shitty today. Did we fucking... Stream is up or stream is down? Is it, are we up? Are we running? Can people hear me? We up. Okay, there it goes. I have no idea what the fuck just happened. Okay, yeah, it says my zero drop framed. All right, weird. Okie dokie. Hey, Juno, dear, it's been a minute. Hey, knock it off. You, yes, you. Stop. Yeah, one of the things, like, look, we've talked a lot about Trump's just insane grifting and corruption. Just and we're going to talk a lot today, by the way, about Democrats. This is going to be a lot of conservatives, but the vote blue no matter who people. The people who smugly sit back and say, well, if you voted for Kamala, this wouldn't have happened, have been conspicuously motherfucking quiet. And you know what? They've been quiet for all of this. They've been quiet every time somebody said, oh, those Palestinian protesters on college campuses are secret Muslim invaders. Like, they were quiet when conservatives spread that bullshit. They were quiet every time somebody called Mamdani a communist and fucking hand wrung about, oh no, billionaires might have to pay a little bit more in taxes. And I have such few words left for the Democratic establishment who can see people being lined up almost. Here's the thing people don't understand. The groundwork is in place, right? The groundwork is in place for, like, it really will take one inciting incident. And the crackdown will come fast and hard on literally fucking anyone. It doesn't matter if you call yourself a centrist. It doesn't matter if you want to say, well, I think we need to have common sense reforms on this. It doesn't matter how much you want to reach around to the other side of the fucking aisle. They are preparing, and I guarantee, what we're going to see tonight is going to go hand in hand with the counterterrorism summit that we saw today, where Stephen Miller and Marco Rubio are going out there to lay the groundwork for delineating anybody they disagree with as terrorists or terrorist sympathizers, and being able to then justify killing, arresting, imprisoning, which, by the way, again, the groundwork for that has already been laid. The fact that this country has not banded together at any level to overrun the ICE facilities where we know men, women, and children are being kept and raped and abused and murdered. I don't know. It's been, I've been having a lot of thoughts lately. Well, I'm always having a lot of thoughts, but I've been having a lot of thoughts angled in one particular direction. It's deeply troubling where we're at, and it has been for a while, and not in the way that the fucking Democrats and Chuck Schumer and all of these senile assholes would want to send you emails and fundraise off of. Not like, oh, this is unprecedented. We got to stop this assault on democracy. Just give us $25 more so we can get reelected and still do the same bullshit and still allow all the same bullshit to happen. There was an interview today, I think it was on CNN or Fox or whatever the fuck, where that walking thumb Tom Homan came out and said, and it was the most, yeah, like, oh no, I think it was Fox, it was Laura Ingraham, came out and said that Democrats need to stop obstructing ICE, as though they have been at all, and allow them to do the jobs Democrats funded. Which is true. When you see, because we've seen it a lot in the last week, when you see multiple people being shot in the fucking face by ICE, when you see ICE shooting somebody in the head and then taking them out of the car and handcuffing them, Democrats voted for that. And you notice what we haven't seen anymore since Minneapolis? We haven't seen any more Democrats coming out to talk shit. We haven't seen any more Democrats, even the mild fucking milquetoast bullshit that Tim Walz was able to come out with, we need to stay calm in this time of need. We need to really die. So, hey, dog, can you not? All right, give me a second. So I want you to think about it, as you see innocent people being shot in the fucking face on the 5 o'clock news, which again, as I've said before, is something we're only going to see more of. I said this when Renee Good and Alex Pretty happened, that if there aren't any actual ramifications for these ICE agents, if the ICE agents do not feel endangered in any way, there's literally nothing to stop them. Like what happened to the officers who killed Renee Good and Alex Pretty? Does anybody know? No, they got fucking transferred somewhere else and they're terrorizing some other people. Meanwhile, who's fighting for the dead? Who's fighting for the people who's fighting for the people in Prairie Land? Nobody. Nobody in the established political mainstream, nobody with any degree of elected power is giving a fuck about the actual rule of law. Sure, they can sit on top of fucking Capitol Hill and talk all day about how, oh, this is unconscionable and this is just not how we do things. But the fact of the matter is that this is the new normal in America moving forward. And yeah, Democrats did enable this. What is the plan right now? Because here's the thing. I can tell you. You don't need to fucking read tea leaves to see the conservatives' plan, because they're lining it up right now. It's what fucking Trump's speech is going to be about: election integrity and election security. So let me fucking line all of these bullet points up for everybody so we can see a bigger picture here. But what do you get when you have a Department of Justice that is delineating incredibly vague and malleable terms like Antifa? Anything they can designate, by the way, Antifa. So you have these incredibly broad categorizations for what counts as political violence, leftist extremism. So they're lining that up at the same time saying that, oh, leftist agitators and leftist extremists are trying to overturn the election. Okay, well, and then at the same time, you just had the precedent set in Prairie Land where things like transporting zines with extremist leftist ideology can get you 40, 50, 60 years in prison. So how many points of separation is that from them saying, or the local fuck-ass PD saying, or the local fuck-ass ICE agency saying, hey, there's a local DSA here. Well, obviously, those are leftist terrorist sympathizers. Obviously, those are going to be engaged in election meddling. Obviously, we have to arrest them. We have to take them out of the voting pool. And you might say, well, that's ridiculous. Like, of course, nobody would try and arrest tens of thousands of people in America. Where would we keep them all? Well, let's expand that bullet point a little bit farther. Where have we been keeping tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people that have been kidnapped off the fucking street? People who are currently in America in concentration camps with no representation. Their families don't know where they are. And this is the actual slippery slope. The slippery slope fallacy is because it always has to stop somewhere, right? Like, oh, if you allow this of your representation, if you allow them to say this, if you allow to have gay people to have equal marriage rights, where does it end? Well, it ends somewhere. It doesn't work the other way. When you flip the power structure upside down, it's not the same. Because power will always want more power. They will always want somebody to designate as the outgroup. They will always want somebody that they can say, these are the ones responsible for people not being able to afford their groceries. Oh yeah, the reason you can't afford your house isn't because of billionaires and massive shithole companies like BlackRock squatting on rental units. It's not because of a massively overinflated rental and real estate market. No. The reason you can't afford a house is not because wages have stagnated. It's not because massive multi-billion-dollar corporations basically own politicians, have them in their pockets so they can lobby against raising that minimum wage. No. It's none of those things. It's none of the things that are causing a drastically and provably worsened quality of life. Everything from microplastics in all your fucking food to the fucking quality of the air. The fact that we now have as reliable as a fucking holiday every year, a worsening and continually widening fire season. See, I know some of the kids in the audience might not remember, but there was a time where everywhere in the world did not always have a fire season. There was a time where you could be somewhere and probably not have to worry about a wildfire coating the sky blood fucking red. No. It's none of those things. It's none of the oxide poisoning your fucking groundwater because an AI data center wants people to be able to shit out more pictures of fruit fucking each other. So your child can have their dopamine receptors burnt out by the time they're 7 and still not know how to read a fucking book. No. It's not that. It's not the AIs that are crumbling not just our infrastructure, but our very concept of reality. The ability for the most simple and undereducated people in America to not even be able to tell what's real or not anymore, and instead just going with what's most comfortable. No. None of those things are at fault. No, it always needs to be somebody else. And this is why I can't help but fucking laugh now when I see people saying like, oh yeah, if the illegals just leave, it'll all be over. If the illegals just leave. No, it won't. This is the real slippery slope of power. It's why people still bring up the fucking poem of first that they came for so-and-so and I did nothing. First, they came for the immigrants. I did nothing. And then you know what they're going to come for next? They're going to come for the communists, Antifa, the leftists, the left. And little by little, more and more, the rubric for what counts as radicalism is going to grow closer and closer. The people who think that, like, oh, well, we can just have the naive Democrats on Capitol Hill who have this idea, because this is the same thing they did last time. I feel like I'm going fucking crazy because this is the exact same shit we had last time. We had a party in power that just kind of waited. We're just like, geez, I guess we can't do anything about this Trump fella. We'll just wait it out and we'll get back to it. And then you know what? Here we are fucking again. Regis Mach 5, I hate that I need to read Jakarta Method. Everybody needs to read Jakarta Method. I'm so fucking deadly serious. At this point, reading the Jakarta Method is like part of your duty. Gonna make a bingo card? Any term ideas? I do not know. My head is in an entirely different place. Dame Samara, thank you for following. And Celine, thank you for following. No chat overlay. Oh, where did that go? Let me find that. There we go. Chat overlay still here. Thank you for letting me know. I did not, Julie Torres, I did not notice. All right, so when is the fucking Trump thing? Yeah, let's go to this. Republicans brace for Trump primetime speech. Rehashing grievances about the 2020 election could motivate the Republican base and press GOP lawmakers to pass the SAVE Act. Oh, yeah. Sorry, BBC. The most, like we've, again, it should not go, there's so many things. The Democrat Party, unfortunately, is not just fucking biffing it hardcore with providing any tangible, actual resistance to Trump and his agenda. But it like we have a mass diarrhea outbreak because of Trump's policies. Why is every representative not on TV right now fucking talking about this? We have, this is, look, there's been a lot of blatant corruption. I just got done writing a segment talking about how Freedom 250, the entire thing was just filled with no bid contracts and basically a dark money fund that Trump used to very likely just solicit donations from massive corporations in exchange for just like dropping legislation that would have affected them. We've talked about, and we talked about it before the mainstream news, we talked about the billions he's made off of crypto. So when you see shit like this, it unfortunately doesn't faze people anymore because it has become so normalized. The full-scale ransacking of, and here's by the way, if you or anybody you know is running for office or you want to get involved in local politics, here's the baseline of where you should be. Conservatives want to kill you and your children. They want your children to not have a future. They are ransacking everything. Your children will not be able to go to national fucking parks because of this shit. Goblin Culinarian, thank you for 25 bits. On the Poop Storms chat, vinegar baths through fruits and veggies, 1 part white vinegar. It's going too fast, goddammit. 1 part white vinegar, 3 parts water. Give them a hella good rinse before you eat them, and if you can, boil them. What is the reason to not vote blue? So that's the thing. Technically, there's not a reason to not vote blue. Right? Like if you value the survival of just like anything, yeah, if you say, if I go to anybody and I say, hey, do you want option A or option B? And option A is getting your leg sawn off with a chainsaw, and option B is cutting 2 fingers off. It's like, I like neither of them, you know? Because we live in a world with option A and option B on the table. We live in a world where instead it could be entirely possible. Instead of saying, hey, you need to cut off either your fingers or your leg, we could be saying, hey, you know what? We actually have a shit ton of resources. We could like house a bunch of people. Hey, you know, we could actually like make scientific breakthroughs instead of funding Silicon Valley tech billionaires who have like their own ideas of literal godhood. People like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk literally see themselves as a higher form of humanity. They see themselves as above you. But we can't have that. Like that's what it comes back to with this vote blue no matter who shit, is that I think so many people are reaching this point of like, what is the fucking point? And the only thing I've seen people getting a little bit of fucking hopium about is people like Mom Donnie and people like Mom Donnie's like actual policies. G Papa Jow, can you explain it to me like I'm 5 why not voting makes more sense? I didn't say not voting makes more sense. I didn't say don't vote. But like, do so with the understanding that the system is inherently broken. You know, like you can go and say, hey, if you go to an event, and I hate using so many fucking metaphors and shit, but because it does. In a way, I feel using so many metaphors and trying to explain something as a thing that it not like is far more complicated, it cheapens the actual understanding of a thing. But on a basic level, if you vote for something and that does not happen, but it does prevent something worse from happening for now, that's one thing. But we are now in the cycle of hypernormalization, and hey, I made a whole video about this. You should go check it out on the channel. Where people are just getting used to bad shit happening all the time. Like, the idea of making stuff less broken, it's not just a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. It's just pausing the bullet before it hits. Like that's what it is. People act like it's harm prevention. It's not. It's harm pausing. With the current Democrat Party, you are not preventing the inevitable harm that will come because they aren't doing anything to push back against it and denormalize it. They are part of the normalization of all of these structures that people want to call fascist and authoritarian and anti-democratic and all this shit. The Democrats, like, this is what I was talking about. The Democrats, Tom Homan was absolutely fucking right. The Dems are the reason why we have so many fucking ICE agents right now with jobs. And like, okay, let's do a hypothetical here. Based on everything we've seen, based on all of the advocacy, all of the people who've come out against the shit from Trump, who have come out against every major event in the last 2 years. Let's say, let me do my Ben Shapiro. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that what I predict comes to pass, some DSA branch somewhere gets found out because a subsidiary of a corporation that is owned by a corporation that George Soros donated money to, because that's, by the way, when people talk about, George Soros operatives and Antifa, they're funding the whole operation. What they're talking about is usually money, 100% of the time, when people talk about things like George Soros and Klaus Schwab, what they're talking about is these mega billionaires who own a shit ton of companies and have a lot of philanthropy under those companies, having dozens and dozens of subsidiaries that some of their money funnels down to. They give to money for charity, whether it's a tax write-off, whether it's for causes they actually believe in, but that's the extent of it. George Soros goes, yes, I will give $500 million to what the fuck ever. And it gets funneled down through grants. It gets funneled down through all this other shit. And it eventually makes it to, somebody's local city council and then to somebody's local DSA. They get $25 for a fucking pizza party or some shit. And then that is what, it is those money trails that people will be using to say, yes, this is where the Antifa sleeps. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that happens. This insane conspiracy, the wackadoo conspiracy I'm laying out for you, comes to pass, and regular American citizens are jailed, right? Over election fraud, over fears of domestic terrorism, right? And let's just say that, dipshits like, because we already know how they like to cement narratives. If somebody is associated with somebody who's associated with something, they will say, oh my gosh, this is obviously Antifa. This is obviously trans leftists, the Trantifa even. This is what happened with Lance Twiggs. This is what happened with Tyler Robinson. So let's go a step further than that. Let's say that they start ramping up to election season. They start saying, okay, you know what? It's not enough that we jailed a bunch of people from Portland DSA who, had fucking flyers, were handing out free Palestine origami cranes or some shit. So obviously they're, Muslim Antifa operatives and must be jailed. But then also they have a bunch of friends on Discord servers that also have a bunch of things we've designated as terrorist signifiers. Oh, look at all those trans flags in bio. We know that. And again, the reason that they put out these fucking long ass posts and reason they put out all of this shit, here we go. Trump administration unleashes global campaign to crush radical left terrorism. The reason they put that shit out is so that they can go back and say, see, this is what the government says. We're the government now. Meanwhile, the baying dipshit hounds like Asmongold will sit back from the comfort of their shit encrusted chairs and be like, yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, see, that serves you right. Yeah, you shouldn't have done that. Until the day comes when they say something that's a little too edgy against Israel, and they'll be on the same fucking side. Pack 1996. Thank you for $10. 2001 really was the beginning of the end of progress in America. We got geopolitically punched in the mouth for the first time and lost our goddamn minds. It all goes back to page. Oh yeah, like the absolute fucking victory for Bin Laden. Like it is. It went like look at where we are now. It went better than Bin Laden could have ever fucking imagined, especially now with Iran on top. Iran is fucking out here whooping our ass. Iran is talking some shit like Iran is talking some ether shit right now. Anyway, before what is sure to be an embarrassing speech, let's talk about some of the most blanket corruption I've ever seen. Let me actually make sure I have that pulled up. Thank you, Kiragen Mystic. I appreciate it. "38 minutes. Yay. Thank you, Sancta Georgia Ora Pro Nobis. I appreciate it. Crazy Men, I'm slightly worried that when they say global campaign, so what they mean by global campaign probably has to do with the, again, another thing that nobody's really ringing the alarm bells they should, the ongoing effort of Netanyahu to essentially align Israelis' military with ours. Which, by the way, again, doesn't take a fucking mind reader to tell you where it's heading, that we have the massive proliferation of flock cameras, the massive proliferation of Palantir, government databases, things like Waymo. Your picture, your data is being taken every second of every day, whether you know it or not. If you see a Waymo pass you on the street, it has your picture. You see a Google car pass you on the street, it's taking a picture of you and where you are. And if you think that the government does not have some sort of massive supercomputer running at all times saying, oh, hey, wait, this person, yeah, this Waymo picked them up. Hey, they were seen at this place at this time. You're not paying attention. Now, again, put 2 + 2 + 2 together here. What do you get when you combine a massive panopticon security state with a ethno-genocidal project like Israel and a insane Zionist urge to just reflexively lock up anybody who advocates for Palestinians? No cookies for guessing, but I'm willing to bet we're probably going to see some charges being brought here in America too, against people for posting anti-Zionism, anti-Semitism. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to doom. I try not to be too much of a doomer. But it's been a rough time. It is a rough time. And I don't know. Goblin Culinary, thank you for 25 bits. As bad as everything is, all I can do is choose to be kind, to be as kind as I can to as many as I reasonably can, and affect the maximum amount of good in the world around me. Be good people to each other. Chat. Thank you very much, Goblin Culinarian. One of the things we missed recently talking about was the untimely passing of Sam Neill. And I bring that up because everything I've seen, and I've always admired him as an actor, and every interview I've seen of him, he's always seemed like a wonderful person. I think of him almost in the same way as Ethan Hawke or Vincent D'Onofrio. Like, they just seem like a thoughtful, kind person. And that sense has only been reinforced by every story that's come out about the value of kindness, especially in a world that seems so intent on ripping that kindness from us at every turn. I think it is important to hold on to that. But I don't know. One who reads, thank you for 12 months, like an anniversary, but a full year. That is an anniversary. Lady Honest, thank you for $10. The beauty of these systems is how easy they are to break. Don't despair entirely. Just know people can and will find ways to break the systems. My problem is that I can't help but wonder if it's already too late. Like, think about it like this. If there was armed revolution tomorrow all over the world, right? Let's say tomorrow we woke up, all the people who needed to be gone, let's just say gone, were gone, and we had a perfect techno-utopia lined up for us. We were able to stop driving cars. We were able to go entirely green. We would still be living in a world that is just going to get hotter. We're still going to be living in a world where your children won't grow up being able to see every species of fish you saw when you went to the aquarium in 2nd grade on a school field trip. We're still be living in a world where your children won't be able to go to the national forests. That these things that were so passive to most of us, that we have memories of going to this place or that, of seeing this place or that on a postcard. And I think it's just in the nature of America to take those things for granted, to see them as consumable. And that's what we've done. Like, we very much live in a world where your kids might never see a night sky in a field full of fireflies because there just aren't as many as there were anymore. And at some level, I wonder if the fact that we haven't just gotten rid of who needs to be gotten rid of means that, like, collectively we deserve this. Like, maybe humans are just a failed fucking experiment. Look at this shit, man. See, that's me being a doomer. I'm sorry. I'm really trying not to. Let me go back and read some of these. Nehemiah, thank you very much for $10. Here's the thing: America isn't even good at fighting. We couldn't defeat Vietnam or Afghanistan. We need to attack Iran with coalitions. We barely got Korea. Can't even conquer Cuba. We are. Oh yeah, like the idea, the entwining of the only reason I can see for Netanyahu wanting so fervently to entwine the Israeli military is to prevent America from just being what I think Trump really wants to do and just be like, fuck this, you're on your own. Like that's what I really think is happening there. But without us, Israel also has fucking nothing. And even with us, they just have a lot more gristle for a meat grinder. Arthur Clybourne writes, thank you for $5. People like Asmongold don't have the good sense to realize that when the fascists run out of energy, they'll create enemies out of whoever's left. Sorry, I read a donation and then I have my thought before I've actually finished I've finished reading the sentence, but I haven't finished reading it out loud. So I apologize if I stop reading to just go off because I've already thought through what's being said. But no, Asmongold is a particularly interesting case because, like, so many of the people on the right are, like, outside of their steadfast advocacy for just blatant cruelty, they're 1 or 2 marks removed from, like, ethnic cleansing criteria. Like, I'm sorry, the incel, celibate, non-fucking, non-procreating, non-Christian, sitting in his disgusting, vile stew all day idiot, like, you are a useless eater, Asmongold. You're the primary demographic. Once they get rid of all the trannies and all the atheists and all the leftists, nobody's going to look at you and be like, oh yeah, no, that's the Ubermensch right there. Canadian Goose, thank you very much for 20. Hey, DD, just caught the last couple minutes of the stream. Were you talking about the conference of left-wing terrorism that reps 65 other nations, including most of EU and Canada? Also still love the bits. Yes, we'll talk about that more today, too. Yeah, Nahamia, thank you very much for $5. This came out a little while ago. Did you hear about the Peter Thiel Secret Society? Yes, I did. Yeah, I started looking into that for another, for a kind of the third video between nostalgia and culture for AI. And that's still pretty far out there. El Salvi, thank you for $5. Isn't it sad that Sam Neill passed away sooner than Trump despite being younger and healthier? Yeah, I really think so. Look, it's kind of a unfortunately perfect disease for Trump, or parasite for Trump to avoid getting, because what do you mean the salad shitting your pants disorder? Like, yeah, of course he's not going to get the fucking salad shitting your pants disorder. But if he does, if Trump gets it, there is a non-zero chance he will shit himself to death like Elvis. That's honestly, that's what I'm holding out for. That's what I'm holding out for. I just need him to eat the wrong fucking Big Mac. Right? Like, that's it. And until then, I think we should all just take one for the team and try and spread this around as much as possible. You know? Like if I need anyway. Riff Snow leads. Yeah, I saw that. Just saw Asmund doing a stream with a woman present. She's getting a huge bag. She also, like, said the most embarrassing shit ever. Who was the girl Asmund was streaming with? Here we go. Female streamer spawns in Asmongold's house is this is, by the way, this is fucking crazy. Look, we're gonna let's have a little bit of
you want to get the one, not that one. That's a piece of shit. That's the good one. This one? Yeah, that's the good one. No. You want to get the one, not that one. That's a piece of shit. That's the good one. This one? Yeah, that's the good one. No. What's so funny about it? What's so funny? It's a great base. What do you mean?
You're ugly.
What do you mean? It's a
You're
good base.
homeless.
I do?
Yeah.
Wait. Do you mean in real life or in game?
In game.
Oh, okay. Well,
Obviously.
well, no, my base is great. I was just saying, in real life, I'd agree with you. No, it's my base is fine. It's optimized. It's optimized. Everything about this is perfect.
I was gonna go pee earlier.
Yeah?
So listen to this part. Listen to where she says, Goblin Culinary, you can't claim that Asmongold is an incel now that he's been in physical proximity to a woman. Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's like a woman hater necessarily. I just think he hasn't fucked. Like being in proximity to a woman is not proof of fucking. I'm gonna be real. I don't know if he has a girlfriend, but listen to this shit where she talks about using his toilet. Fucking content warning.
What about it? Is it?
What happened to your toilet? It's unusable.
What? I mean, it's unusable.
There's like the biggest dookie stain.
No, there's not.
There is. I can't use it. Am I allowed to say that? Are they not supposed to know? They know. You guys know, right? They know.
That's so fucking funny. That's so fucking funny. I don't know who this girl is. I'm willing to bet some fucking clout chasing wannabe chud girl. Drake, thank you very much for $5. Cool Baphomet go. Thank you. That is a lamb chop. Albie France, thank you for $5. Trump has already shat himself on regular occasion in public for years of decades. He's a practice shitter of pants. Yeah, but I need it. I need, look, if we could have a grand series finale where he just like goes out on stage and shits himself to death in front of a billion people on TV, I'll rescind almost all of my complaints. Is that Emaru? It kind of looks like Emaru, but I don't think that she wants to be seen that close. I also think Emaru would have a little bit more tact. Well, I don't know. Emaru does seem like kind of an idiot. Dexter Bunko, thank you for $9.99. If it helps at all, I find optimism in that life will persist with or without us. I prefer with, but without is okay too. Life has changed. Either we change or life moves on without us, and that's okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I keep coming back to. Nehemia, thank you very much for $5. Bro doesn't wipe because he gets upset. It makes him feel something. I don't want to think about this. Okay. Ugh. Anyway, one of the things we've been talking about for fucking what is the anyway, Trump is selling fucking access to his Truth Social posts, launching a paid service to give Wall Street firms high-speed access to its most influential posts. It is likely aimed at financial traders who want to see market-moving news fast. So they're paying for Trump to see Trump's posts first so that they can get in on the ground floor of whatever effect his dumb bullshit is going to have on the market that day. Like, yeah, how do you even deal? God. Yeah, it's insider trading. It's it's like a subscription level for insider trading, dude. I can't fucking believe this shit, man. Just throw them all in a goddamn volcano in Minecraft. All in all, it's good. Thank you for tier 1 for 4 months in a row. Sounds like insider trading. Doesn't it, though? Doesn't it, though? Goblin Culinary, thank you for 25 bits. Chat, you need to outlive the president. If nothing else, hold fast to your lives with the knowledge that the internet is going to be really, really funny. Ooh. Yeah, and Amy Chapman, his teleprompter minion, getting investigated for insider trading. Yeah. Well, allegedly, they made over 100K from. Like, that's the other half of where Warren Buffett was right about, like, nothing mattering right now economically because it's all fucking gambling, is that at the top level, it's all fucking gambling. At the like mid-wit level with shit like crypto, always been gambling. And then you have shit like AI, which is absolutely gambling. And then you have shit like this and the market manipulation. And probably worst of all, the literal gambling coming from things like Polymarket and Kalshi, which who would have fucking expected would lead to corruption? Oh, literally anybody who looked at that shit. Great. Yeah, I saw the Chuck Schumer fart. Oh, here's another one. Husband of Code Pink founder. So this is what the next 12 months are going to look like for everybody. Looked at the stream. Is it hot in your room? No? Why? I don't think so. Why? Do I look red or flushed? Husband of Code Pink founder being investigated under federal foreign agent and tax laws. Benefactor of far-left political causes is under investigation. Like, that's what's going to happen. Like, anybody who donates to a fucking Save the Whales Foundation or Greenpeace or any of that shit, if you donate $50 so some unfortunate woman can get an actual abortion instead of having their life derailed, if you give money to mermaids or pro-trans causes, these are the things that will be logged somewhere. They will be correlated and cross-referenced. Am I shiny? I might just be moist. Or not moist. I'm not moist. It might just be like leftover moisturizer. Hair looks like it's wet from sweat. No, my hair is actually like really fluffy today. Yeah, my hair is like, I washed it yesterday and I didn't have, I just got the conditioner I actually need. I didn't have conditioner, so my hair just went poof. People's Forum, a left-leaning nonprofit that advocates for causes impacting working class and other marginalized group. Yeah. According to reports in the Free Press, Barry Weiss, you will not see redemption. You will not see the gates of heaven. You turncoat cunt. Thank you very much, Maxis Animates, for $10. Hey, DD and pals, glad to see the Orange Death trying to take the wind out of my birthday tomorrow. Sales, happy birthday. Happy to be around you fellas for said birthday eve either way. Yay. MZombie123, thank you for 7 months. At this point, it's not insider trading anymore. It's just trading. That's what I'm fucking saying. Like, I can't, like, how do you, it's not that you can't be mad at it. Because I think part of hypernormalization and part of this place that everybody is at right now, where we kind of dip into and out of these constant emotionally tiring states, part of it is growing used to that constant strain and pressure, right? Like this is a similar phenomenon, I think, to when, and this is something I know, this is something I'm sure many other people in my audience know. This is something very similar to when you live in poverty for a long time. It gets really hard to form different eating habits. Like this is part of the poverty cycle, and goes hand in hand with things like food deserts, where your body, your routine grows so used to getting whatever quick junk shitty food you can as cheap as you can. But also there are all these little vestigial habits that will pop up. So like not wanting to leave it, like if you go out, somebody treats you to a night out, and like you don't have to pay, keeping your meal small, right? Or not leaving anything left over. Like these are things that I grew up with. I grew up doing. Little things with food, like always having like sandwich bags so you can always have leftovers. You know, buying things off-brand, generic brand, even if it might be like technically worse for you or not as much of a good deal, right? Going for bulk over quality. Yeah, Drew Pruitt can confirm when I became impoverished, donuts became 50% of my diet. The idea of like this fucking bullshit that I hate so much when people, you get Matt Walsh or fucking, who was it recently? It was like Chris Rufo or one of those fucking dipshits being like, oh, I don't want, because they, were at a fucking Quickie Mart and saw cookies that had EBT valid on them. And it's like, no. People are like, oh, well, if somebody isn't working, they shouldn't have cookies. Like these fucking, it's the everybody's 12 conception of reality where the only way you could say, oh, well, if you have cookies are a treat, and treats, that means that you did good, so you get a cookie. And if you don't work a job, you did not get good and have a cookie. It's like, no, you fucking moron. The reason why the shitty, pasty Safeway cookies are EBT valid is because they are calorie dense. Not because they're good for you. Not because anybody thinks, oh yeah, no, I think the poor should have a little treat just for fun. Because they have a lot of fucking calories. So people who may only eat one thing a day can have enough calories to technically, not a nutritious meal by any stretch, but technically something that their body can consume for energy. Zenarian, arguably cookies are great calories per dollar. That's that poverty mindset. That's that shit I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Because why would I, as somebody with limited money, buy, $20, which is fucking more than that now, but of vegetables that I could make a salad and I could make multiple meals to prepare because that's going to take extra time. And what if I forget an ingredient and then it goes to waste and, oh, I forgot to eat it. Why would I do that when I could spend instead $10 on a box of cookies and I can just grab one of those every time I'm going past? And then you know what happens? Like the cycle of poverty and the cycle of depression are linked like this, and it's all part and parcel with hypernormalization too. I've seen some lefty streamers engage in talk like this, just eat beans and rice, poverty doesn't excuse a poor diet kind of shit. Like, on one hand, that's not entirely inaccurate, but I think it's also ridiculous. Like, it is ridiculous to expect somebody who, especially when you're like, oh yeah, land of the free, home of the brave, to just eat the same bland, technically nutritious shit every day. Like, yeah, any one of us could just eat beans and rice. We could. Nobody wants to. Goblin Culinary, thank you for 25 bits. My partner's diet is like that. They're obsessed with those horrible, Velveeta box dinners, and I have to constantly supplement their diet with actual veggies. I've taken to dehydrating mushrooms. Hell yeah. Blasting them in a coffee grinder and sprinkling it into their meals. Ooh, that actually sounds not bad. Knit Cat Sit. I live in Texas, beginning to see signs around HEB that say sodas are no longer covered by SNAP, and I couldn't help but feel it's only being done to normalize the dehumanization of people. Yeah. No, like the dehumanization is the point. People talk about like, oh, the cruelty is the point and all that shit. But genuinely, the goal is to dehumanize you. And at a certain point, how the average American citizen, how have you not been dehumanized? This is the thing that I find so cruelly ironic about just the reactionary online, particularly the young right, just taking the steadfast anti-woke, like these people who have spent their entire lives living in just enough privilege and security, just enough that they haven't ever genuinely been economically threatened. They haven't ever genuinely been at risk of being out on the street, and yet they still feel that they have fucking problems. They still feel that it is a worthy use of their time to bitch about, oh, this video game has a black person and that's how the West is dying. This is how communist Marxist California is taking over my video games. Because at the end of the day, Americans just want fucking treats. When people talk about treatlerism, that's what it is. People just want treats. They don't give a fuck about if their freedoms are actually under attack. The things they are free to do. Because Americans equate freedom with consumption. What can you buy? How quickly can you get it? Not, what do you want to do with your life? Not, how do you want to improve the world? Those things become subsumed by the American impulse to just consume. Just give me more. Yeah, see, my hair is like super fucking puffy today, and I don't even know what to do with it. But that video game, it doesn't have a porn-faced main character. Yeah, that shit. Like the goononomics, the gooner economy coming up in video games is another thing that I'm just like, no, this is really, like, it. There are certain things and certain trends you look like, and you especially if you've looked at the video game industry for so long, or just any industry really, and you're like, oh, this is the next thing. Like, this is the next 5 to 10 years of our life. Right? Like, we are getting out of a phase of horrendous IP crossover that I would say, like, started around the Lego movie, and I think people are finally fucking wearing off of it. But next up, it is going to be harvesting the internet. Like, you've already seen it with the Backrooms. You've already seen it with, like, as soon as the Backrooms popped off, there were 1,000 fucking Asylum ripoffs, and then everybody is doing their own fucking Siren Head and Cartoon Cat, and I'm sure there's going to be a fucking Bendy and the Ink Machine and Garden of Bambi, all this other shit. And that's kind of how I feel about the weird, like, over-sexualization of, like, video game characters. I think it's going to swing back because of the popularity. I think something like Marvel Rivals proved that you can just have sex appeal in mainstream. And as we have this contingent growing older, the kids who grew up playing shit like Minecraft and Fortnite, like, those things are going to acquiesce in kind to those more mature audiences, which you saw today. There was a fucking there was a goddamn Poison Ivy skin coming out for Fortnite that's like a bikini, and the emote it comes with has her like wiggling bare toes to the camera, and it's like, come on. Like, yeah, I know those animators know what the fuck they're doing, but that's just the world that we're gonna live in forever. Why couldn't America eat their veggies like the rest of the world? I mean, like now we literally can't. I'm super curious about, like, what, and this is a weird doomerism for me, but, like, I am curious about what fucking comes next. Like, what is the next plague we're going to be hit with? Because there is now a 0% chance, like, absolutely a 0% chance of this fucking diarrhea thing being contained in any way that matters. But I'm wondering what happens when we have, even for a brief period, Americans unable or unwilling to eat more vegetables. The few nutritious things we have, sullied by our poisoned earth as they likely are. Like, what are we just gonna have new fucked up mutated forms of scurvy? Like, I don't know. Oh my god. I just started and stopped watching a channel that covered Mortal Kombat stuff because he was mad they censored Cetrion by having her wear high heels instead of being barefoot. That's fucking See, this is the other thing. The one of the I could go on for a while about the problems with like Gen Z sexuality and like the kids coming up these days, and the fact that things like we were not meant to have, like society as a whole is not meant to have things like feet and armpit fetishes being so fucking mainstream. We're just not. You good, Sophistry? Mirror X Shard, thank you for $5. Did the AI yassification filter ever turn into anything other than a joke? I'm sure that people are still using fucking AI shit. I'm sure there is somebody out there who yassifies themselves with AI. I mean, but like, just do it on your own. When I made a shitty fucking cover with Pete Hegseth, I yassified Pete Hegseth and Cash Patel. I did that on a phone app. Like, you just turn up the smoothing and like make the eye, like just play around with the fucking character creator. And don't get the thing. You don't need to use AI for this shit. Why though? Citation needed, but I heard there's like brain structure reasons some people like feet. A lot of fetishes go back to like just weird sexual awakenings. Like there's very, when it comes to fetishes specifically about body parts, and like pain in a broad sense, a lot of it comes back like you don't. It's a super fascinating area of psychology because from what I've read on it and from what I understand, a lot of fetishes, you don't know how it's going to affect you until later in life. Like a lot of it comes back to shit where people are just like, oh yeah, weird. You need to use AI for everything? Who needs to? Fuck that. HF official, I'm in defeat, and I know it's because of Nickelodeon. It pisses me off. There you go. Disney's Robin Hood has a lot to answer for. I mean, but no, somebody was talking about how insane it's gotten. Like it is. It's one of those things where it's localized to like AI, or not AI, well, AI, but it's localized to like weird anime shit. But it's gotten to a point where I get those fucking, and I don't play gacha games, but I get those fucking gacha game ads. YouTube has them all over the place, and they are so insane, like as to be basically pornographic. Just like tiny skimpy clothing and then just like the feet right in the fucking front. Like it's gratuitous, it's grotesque. Like it's not. I think the thing that gets me is that the extremity of it, because it is this weird pocket industry that nobody wants to acknowledge, is geared towards Zoomers. It's geared towards, a lot of times, people under the age of 18. Because again, think of how the media economy, especially when it comes to sex, sexuality, and porn, has changed since like I was a kid, where I was probably in the last generation to have the like, oh, you found some porn in the woods, right? This is not what happens today. Today, kids will know about porn and see hardcore porn, like very likely by middle school. And what's even worse is that there's been this kind of collapsing into collapsing of our kind of cultural experiences to where you now have every major like franchise, movie, comic, video game, whatever comes out. You know what it's going to have? Fucking animated porn made of it. So not only do you have kids being exposed to these sites at much higher levels, but then you have these incredibly weird, unrealistic depictions of sex and sexuality and fetish and kink and consent and non-consent that are presented to kids in characters they know, in games they know. Like the fact that we have Fortnite and Minecraft pornography. What are you fucking talking about? This is a game for 10-year-olds. And nobody really wants to talk about it or go after that stuff. It's like it's fucking it's a fucking bummer. Nehemia, thank you for $5. Fun fact, it's forbidden to use AI in studying Jewish law. We're supposed to discuss our laws and history in groups, and using AI doesn't count. I have a funny story. NIFB, by the way. NIFB. I watched Aaron Thompson's, speaking of preachers using AI, I watched fucking Aaron Thompson, because I kind of went down a rabbit hole of the NIFB after our last episode, our last show. And Aaron Thompson, one of the shithead preachers of the NIFB, did a whole sermon where all of his argumentation was, I talked to Chat GPT and it told me this, and then I said, well, you're wrong about this, and then it told me how right I was, and it was like, ugh. Riffs No Leads. We all had at 10 years old was an old ass titty magazine. See, and that's the fucking thing. Is that, like, I think back to, and there is a difference in the access of porn, right? Because I would say that within reason, if a kid finds and goes through a nudie mag in the fucking forest with their friends, there is something of a social bonding process there that I think is like ultimately fine, whatever. Kids discover sex and sexuality in different ways. That is so vastly different. Being able to look at some pinups, big, luscious knockers, and not knowing what a clit is 10,000 miles away from kids being able to go and search for Harley Quinn Fuda raw. Like the stuff that is available at the touch of a button to anybody now is levels of magnitude, orders of magnitude more seismic. All right, let's go to that.
Wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murderers, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody.
Great. Yep.
Men and women's sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation.
Oh,
but
they
not
still
anymore.
are.
2 years ago, our country was
It's the
dead.
same shit every
Now,
fucking
we
time,
are the
man.
hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been.
I'm just turning him down for now. This fucking shit is the
being
same.
invested in the United States than at any time
Fuck
in the
off.
history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before.
Jesus. Media breakdown.
This
I'm
week
so
it was
sorry.
announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The
All right,
media
I'm
reported
gonna
it.
answer these really
We
quick.
accept it.
Lady Addis, thank you very much for $10. Someone who has a list of favorite NSFW artists. I'm still weirded out by the whole skimpy clothing and suggestive poses in some games. It's really questionable. Yeah, there is no delineating a line, and this is an attitude. Well, I can talk about that for a while, but it's an attitude you see proliferate a lot, where it's like everybody just wants everything to be sex and violence all collapse into one all the fucking time. Anyway,
but only if that car is made in America and a 100% expensing for our
no, this is
job-creating
live. This is right now.
businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time. And your 401ks, pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nations policy because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly. Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of health care. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of health care is coming way down because of what we've...
No, it's not. Unless they have drastically fucking changed it, it is just another, like, basically a drop shipping site for medication where it costs basically the fucking same as anywhere else.
Billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18 they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account and they'll get off to a great start in life.
Sure.
So for that, go to TrumpAccounts.gov and sign up.
Do you
your
notice?
child or
Do you notice the
any
fucking
child who'd
branding
like to sign
exercise that's just constant now?
Previously wide open borders
Everything is
have been
fucking Trump.
transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now
Not
we
a
have the
not a
best.
single person
Crime
got
is
in. Huh?
plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly.
Oh yeah.
America is back.
Do you remember when he said we would see Iran would fucking surrender in like a month, 3 fucking months ago?
Great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have
Joey J,
today
remember when he said
falls
Mexico would pay for the wall?
catastrophically
Oh,
short of that
what
standard.
just different
Tonight, I'm
times.
announcing
Geek
the
Primax, thank you
immediate
very much. I don't know about
declassification
amazing.
and release of critical intelligence, revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our
Yeah, I'm
election
shocked.
infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirm their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting
God, he sounds fucking
vulnerabilities
terrible.
and correcting them very, very quickly, and that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during
What, they
the
get fucking Dinesh
2020
D'Souza to make up more
election
bullshit?
the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to.
Here's the thing. It's really hard to give a fuck about foreign interference when modern megacorps are doing the exact same shit. Like, oh no, somebody got our data? Like fucking Palantir? Like fucking every other major company? Like what?
Specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president
control everything,
and the
but there's
American
still the deep
people
state.
like
Ooh,
nobody
buddy.
thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country, a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018,
Terran Ambassador, no, I think he's just fucking
Party's policy was to leverage
like
all
sundowning. He's just an
domestic
old
and
fucking
foreign
guy.
elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could. And they didn't care what.
So now anything they're going to say anything negative is China.
And the reason they wanted
Fuck
me
off.
to lose is because they knew I was wise to them. Charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama.
Oh my God,
to be
dude.
burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National
The
Intelligence,
guy
the Department
who
of Justice,
stole
the FBI, and
classified documents is bringing up Obama, blaming it on Obama, but saying, but the guy who stole the classified documents is mad at a different administration for some shit not getting burned?
releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised.
damn it, I
and
keep forgetting
people
this.
within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it? Made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases,
He is getting that
poll books, and
RFK
other
rasp. He's been hanging out
official
with
election websites
RFK
are
hearing
most
about
vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States of America. Tonight, we're releasing all of those findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals.
And I
or
will
change
get to all of the
election
super chats
results
after the
on
speech.
these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to
LT 4109, inshallah. Inshallah. Oh, you're
that's what
fucking.
they did.
If there's a God
This
up there,
reporting
your lips to
included
their
precise
ears.
Details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan.
Sure.
In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned. They couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the
Gift cards.
matter is
That's where
fully
we're at.
investigated.
Gift cards, man.
And to work with the Department of
Sure, dude.
Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes. Finally, to reveal just how vulnerable our elections continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and
God
public
damn,
records,
he is fucking
they
sounding
identified
rough,
approximately
dude.
278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried. Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter rolls. And yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing.
What?
This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue. Every American, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should be able to agree that we deserve the most secure, honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together.
It should be a
Democrats,
partisan.
Republicans, Independents, everybody.
Yeah, sure.
And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a
I'm not that guy.
cause.
He's whipping
We
it
should
out.
be
Lyndon B.
united,
Johnson. Hey,
not
don't.
divided.
Jumbo
In light of
deserves
the
better than that,
brand new
okay?
and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight. My administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better
I
protected.
thought, wasn't he listing off 5 areas? Did he go through the
Can never
5?
be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states.
Can you not open
If you
lockers
look
in the
at
first Metal
voting
Gear?
today,
In Metal Gear
it's
Solid?
in such bad shape in so many states,
Damn.
and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known technical vulnerabilities before the midterm elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those elections to be honest. I've also ordered DHS to notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act. How easy
Oh,
is that to
fuck.
do?
I looked away from the screen for 1 second.
The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way.
Oh, yeah,
This
no, he's just
landmark
blatantly
bill
trying to stop
requires
any
that all
actual
voters
election.
Must show photo, voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo, voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship.
I can't wait to be
Are
able
you
to
a
dance on this
citizen of our
motherfucker's
country,
grave.
please? And hopefully there will be no corrupt mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the
Oh, no, Alphabet Soup.
vulnerabilities
There
that
are
I've
people who
mentioned.
genuinely
To all
believe
Americans, I
him.
ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together, we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Just fucking sitting there. Okay. Yeah, that was a bunch of bullshit, like everybody thought it would be. El Salve, thank you for $5. Glad that was fucking prime time so we can suck up more of everybody's time and attention. El Salve, thank you for $5. MAGA claims to be America first, yet encourage Russia to meddle in their 2016 election. No problem with foreigners, even if it means betraying the U.S. Invalid Synapse, thank you for $10. Thank God he's not announcing a ground invasion. No, they'll just do that. Like, I genuinely believe they'll just do that. Brutus Magazine, thank you for $10. Everyone check the voter registration ahead of time. Yeah. Like, fucking be on top of your voting shit, y'all. El Salve, thank you for 5. China doesn't even need to wage war against America to win. They can shut down their trade and force Americans to starve into submission. I mean, like, I feel we're going to just fuck ourselves into the dirt regardless. Like, they can honestly sit back and just Sun Tzu it for a little bit. Don't interrupt your enemy when they're in the middle of making a mistake. Dexter Bunko, thank you for $10. My employer, Defense Megacorp, has its own PAC. They encourage employees to donate to their preferred party through the PAC. The Corp then selects friendly candidates, whatever flavor you prefer. God. Oh, that's fucking what? Democracy, y'all. Hell yeah. Nehemia, thank you for $10. As kid, my brother and I had a world building project, and a character I made was a dumbass businessman who named everything after himself and became a tyrant. In other words, I fear a manifesto Trump. Aha, so it's your fault. Mirror X Sharp, thank you for $2. Looks like he's being ventriloquized like Annabelle. Nehemia, thank you for $5. Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for ending the war in Iran more times than I can even count. Yeah, doesn't he? Doesn't that happen a lot? Violet Left, thank you for 50 bits. This speech is exactly what I expected. Yeah. I don't know anyone expects anything crazy from these things. The same lame, predictable shit every time. I kind of just oh yeah. I saw that NBC broadcasted it. Like, yeah, I kind of just expected it to be like this. I think, Karenil, you said Trumpo. Let's see, Trump speech today. See if we can fucking find something there. White House voter, like what would it be? Voting executive order, I guess. No, not that. Except for on mail-in ballots. Oh, excuse me. Trump accounts save America. Invest. What's invest? The Trump effect. Oh my God. All right, let's go. Pause Metal Gear for a second and go back to this shit. Major investment announcements. UA. Oh yeah, no, these are all the investments we've gotten. 1.4 trillion from the United Arab Emirates. 1.2 trillion from Qatar. Yeah, crazy. Apple, 600 billion. Like, these companies are based here. What the fuck are you talking about? Saudi Arabia, Nvidia, India, foreign investment, Korea, foreign investment. Sure, dude. I got no bingo. Bummer. Act now. American citizens and only American citizens should decide American elections. U.S. largely relies on self-attestation for citizenship. Oh, sure, dude. Urge your senator to pass the Save America. Okay, well, what about the fucking, what was the... Do we got nothing right now on those? Do they not have Freedom 250 events? It's just him. It's just fucking... Unleash American energy. Make America healthy again. Initiatives. Freedom 250. Investments. Working families. Tax cuts. AI.gov. Doge. Where the fuck is the thing? Go check it out on the website. Where the fuck is that, dude? Ugh. All right, let's hear it.
Or, for example, what we call raw intelligence, which could be from a single source with a bias or a particular vendetta. So it really depends on the kind of intelligence that we're talking about, whether it was coordinated and what confidence levels we have.
And very quickly, Tony, to underscore the point,
Doge is still up. Yeah, Doge, by the way, Doge is, I believe, defunct now. the fact that it's still up on there is another scathing indictment of how dog shit everything is.
Made today in its briefing. It is not alleging that China or any other foreign adversary infiltrated any system in our country, compromised a single vote, or materially affected any election outcome ever. That's really important.
Yeah.
Vulnerabilities matter. That is important. But have they been taken to the next most important, scariest level? And the administration is saying, no, it has not.
But when you talk about the scariest level, it goes to the question of what we're all doing here and what the president is
Right.
doing with our attention and time. He's making a speech leading people to the conclusion that there are catastrophic vulnerabilities that have been exploited, when in fact that is not the case. Our elections, upon which our entire system depends, have been running smoothly and securely. There is not strong evidence of votes being changed, of non-citizens altering the outcome of elections. These things have not happened, and yet we're having this broader conversation. I want to get into one of the other, I think, quite explosive allegations from the president about voting machines and vulnerabilities. I have been up close to these voting machines. They are like the Zoran machine from Big. They're not plugged in. They're not on the internet.
No,
I mean, they're isolated boxes with jump drives on the side. So the idea that somebody on the outside can hack in is hard to believe. Is he describing something new that I didn't encounter, or what do you hear in that?
I hear that there is an assessment that in an abstract experiment, it was found that one type of machine might be vulnerable. One type of machine. Okay. But as you said, it's not connected broadly. We have a decentralized election system in our country. And most importantly, Tony, 95% of all ballots in this country are cast with a paper auditable trail. Meaning, if there's any discrepancy that any candidate wants to raise about the results of an election, and also remember, processing and counting is observed by election observers for both parties.
Right.
As it happens, they're in the room always. If there's a discrepancy, you have a means by which to test the data in the machine against an auditable paper ballot. That is a secure mechanism to verify and validate voter intent. We're not living in the world of 2000 with hanging chads any longer.
Right.
We have solved that problem. We have addressed it. That was a genuine vulnerability that held up the declaration of the President of the United States for many weeks. We all remember it, those of us who lived through that. We're not there anymore.
Yeah.
So when the President talks about theoretical machine vulnerabilities, that's precisely what it is, a theoretical vulnerability that has mechanisms behind it to backstop what the voter intent actually was.
Yeah, theoretical. We're going to get to the non-citizen registrations that he brought up, but I want to go back to Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan here on this question of what we're all doing here, why the president is focusing attention on this, whether it's really about the past or actually about the future, and what we saw in hearings this week, for example, nominees of the president unable to answer the question of who won the 2020 election. There is something here that is unacknowledged and won't be acknowledged by the president and his allies. Is tonight an effort to buttress that, or is it something else? You have these conversations on Sunday. I'm really curious what you're hearing.
The president, since he lost the 2020 election, has continued to say he won it, despite all of what Major laid out, the court cases, the reports, the information shared with the public. So he has never given up that ghost, despite facts. In terms of his motivations, you could connect those dots. In terms of the spin forward of, so what are you going to do if, in fact, the election system is as vulnerable as you claim? Now, Tony, if we take the president at his word, that is the intent, to secure our elections and thus drive up confidence in that machinery of the democratic process, then you would also raise questions, Tony, like why did he cut 1,000 people, a third of the workforce at the domestic agency charged with protecting cyber infrastructure, known as CISA? A third. Why did the Director of National Intelligence Office eliminate the Foreign Malign Influence Center division along with layoffs more broadly there? Why at the State Department did they eliminate the office that countered foreign influence? If the president's intention is to counter that, as he gestured to with the China allegations, with the Venezuela allegations, why would you get rid of the people whose job it is to counter those things. So that's a big question I'm sure a lot of lawmakers will be asking. I have the vice chair of the Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, joining my program Sunday, and I'm sure we will talk about that. But I also want to bring up some of the intelligence that the president referenced, because CBS on our website, so many of our reporters here do great work behind the scenes trying to chase down and really just fact check things. Our Sarah Lynch, our Jake Rosen covering the Justice Department point out to me.
All right. What Trump's newly declassified documents knew and don't say about threats to U.S. elections. Though the documents are newly declassified, largely just vulnerabilities that have been known about for years. Yeah, no shit. None of the fucking of course. They will declassify shit, so much shit, anything but those fucking files, man. Man. Sports claim that any previous was manipulated by or in a way that would have changed the outcome. Despite the fact that the second Trump admin has shuttered many federal organizations that were tracking and publicizing foreign influence campaigns. Oh, weird. Country, it was possible because insider access to voting systems. Yeah. Uh-huh. Non-citizens on voter roll. It's the same shit, man. It's the same fucking shit. I just, the thing that annoys me more than anything, truly annoys me more than anything, is the fact that he still just fucking makes everybody else just stop and pay attention to him. Like, just because he can. Like, that's the thing. It is purely just because he can. I haven't seen that one yet. All right, chat. I'm going to throw this on. We're going to get a little bit further in this because there was a whole... I wonder if fucking... Oh, yeah, Miller comes up and talks during this. Marco Rubio and Stephen Miller had a much more important, and I say important for the establishing precedents that can and will be used against people, mark my fucking words, in the upcoming election, of the radical left and the measures they are taking at the resurgence of political terrorism. The resurgence of political terrorism. Let us go do that. Well, I guess you would know better than I do, Real NIFB Parody. Has there been any update on the NIFB front? Because it's what's today? Today's Thursday. So they had, I don't know, did Jonathan Shelley say anything in a sermon yesterday or anything I might wanna look at? Meredith, thank you for $5. Terrible joke for you, DD. Why do Norwegian ships have barcodes on their side so they can Scandinavian? Scandinavian. Very good. Very good. I don't know. I do kind of want to see. Let me see. What is... All right, let's do a quick look-see. No, it's deflating for now. Damn it. Oh. I would so much rather watch hate church shit than this, if I'm being so for real. I would rather watch that like drama slop nonsense. But let's all hear about how we are all terrorists. I am going to... I'll press play on this. I will be right back. I'm going to run to the restroom, and then we will watch this.
Off group in Europe to the Weather Underground here in the United States to the Tupamaros and the Montoneros in South America.
Okay, no, we got it. They're drawn. All right, I gotta go back. They're bringing out Weather Underground. They're talking Weather Underground and likening leftists in America to South American rebel groups. COINTELPRO is so fucking back. I'm not joking when y'all need to read Jakarta Method like yesterday. Oh, God, dude. If these motherfuckers had their way, every left-leaning person in America would be put on a fucking spit in front of their family for just wanting health care. Ugh.
Excellencies and distinguished guests, the Deputy Secretary of State of the United States, the Honorable Christopher Landau.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the State Department. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here. For those of us who grew up in the 1970s, the topic that we're going to be discussing today is all too familiar. From the Red Brigades and the Baader-Meinhof group in Europe to the Weather Underground here in the United States to the Tupamaros and the Montoneros in South America. Many of our countries have familiarity in the past with political terrorism, and unfortunately we're seeing a resurgence of that again today. And so
the idea of being like, yeah, you know, South American political terrorism, those insurgent rebel groups, not the fucking legion of CIA-backed fronts and militias that were fucking burning people alive in front of their families and raping and mutilating children, running wild after being trained by, literally, it was called the School of the Americas. No. It was, those darn rebel groups trying to make sure that people aren't fucking dying for bananas. God, man. Here we go. Hell yeah.
So that is why we are gathered
I'm
here
gonna
to talk about this
find my way out of this.
Obviously, we know the good news is it can be defeated because it has been defeated, and we can defeat it again. But that's going to require some clear leadership, and it is my great privilege to
Marco Rubio is
the host of today's conference.
Guy for the job, I guess.
Him. He's from one of the most dynamic cities in our country, Miami, Florida, where international relations just flows in the air because of so many different cultures are present there. He's someone who served in the United States Senate with great distinction for 14 years, and he now is the chief steward of policy for our great president, Donald J. Trump. So it's my great honor this morning to introduce our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
Yay. All right, chat, help me out. Where do I get the C4?
Thank you all.
I've only played Twin Snakes.
Distinguished group of people that have traveled from around the world
not the OG.
This important conversation. We're grateful to you. I also want to thank members of the president's team and cabinet that are.
God, I've blockheaded dipshit. Katra, thank you for 16 months. Hey, babe, how about that dumbass speech? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we sure did watch all that shit.
Here today, our FBI director,
one of the rooms isn't locked. Is it in there?
Thank you. Our Secretary of Education.
There's a one that isn't locked. Just had SOCOM
You'll hear shortly
ammo.
from Stephen Miller, the President's Deputy Chief of Staff and one of his top advisors on Homeland Security issues as well. And of course, our Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, is here. But again, I want to thank all of you that are here today. I want to thank the whole team here at the State Department as well for putting this together. It truly is an unprecedented event on an unprecedented issue, moment, I should say, in our history.
Sure.
So let me start by saying that the most essential duty of the state.
Look at the doors.
The first responsibility, frankly, of any government of any kind is the protection of its people. It's the protection of its country. This is a sacred obligation that should transcend all political and all ideological divisions. It is why, for example, we have militaries. It's why we have intelligence agencies. It's why
I have to have the
counterterrorism
fucking
bureaus
key
exist,
card
why
equipped.
police
Okay.
forces exist. Keeping our people safe
there's
is the
your
reason
name.
why every country represented here has all of these things.
All right. Thank you.
We
you.
are all very well acquainted, as of now, of course.
That's crazy. Mackenzie, thank you for $5. You mentioned old games making a comeback. Somebody I know restored WWE 2K14 servers. Yeah, what was it? There was another game. Oh, recently, Silent Hill Downpour is getting a really good port that's restoring shit. Good. Fucking this shit shouldn't belong to companies that don't give a fuck about the artist or the artistry or who these things affect. They belong to people.
By now, with what has been described
Art
as
isn't for
traditional
fucking
terrorist
collectors.
threats.
It's for everybody.
For 25 years, the term counterterrorism, at least in the West, has meant first and foremost the fight against radical Islamist extremism.
Sure.
And there's a very poignant reason for that. On the 11th
Propaganda? What, there's a very poignant reason. It's not poignant. It's propaganda. That's why.
11th of September, in the year of 2001,
let's fucking
19 men
relitigate
murdered
this, shall we?
3,000 people here in my country. Then that same enemy struck Europe, murdering nearly 200 commuters aboard trains in Madrid in 2004 and 52 more aboard London buses and the underground in the following year. The entire architecture of Western counterterrorism was rebuilt from the studs around the singular traumatic event. That made sense at the time. Our job was to keep our people safe, and the realm of terrorism, the specter of global jihad, was the premier threat to their safety. And so we went to work, and we assembled a global coalition, working with many of the friends that are represented here in this room today, and we destroyed the ISIS caliphate, we killed al-Baghdadi, and al-Zawahiri, and bin Laden, and we built intelligence and law enforcement systems capable of anticipating and stopping attacks before the public even hears about them. Every country represented here today has disrupted a terrorist threat at some point emanating from this source. Jihadist attacks and plots in the United States are down by 2/3 since ISIS's peak. The number of people killed by jihadist terrorism in Europe dropped by roughly 97% from the year 2015 to the year 2024. In other words, to a very great extent, our counterterrorism strategy has worked. The threat has not disappeared, of course. It will continue to exist, particularly so long as we tolerate immigration systems that imports these threats directly into our
There we go. Got to have the fucking
But this
citizen
threat has
vigilante
been
of it
severely
all.
diminished. The world looks very different today because of it. For far too long, however, our counterterrorism doctrine has had a blind spot when it comes to extremist violence from the political left. Even today, the very idea that far-left terrorism could be a serious threat is treated as a right-wing fever dream.
Yeah,
or
it
worse,
is.
as a dangerous fascist conspiracy. It's treated this way by many in the press, by many in academia and our universities, and by many of our legacy institutions. You will no doubt see the dogma rear its head in the coverage of this very conference.
All right, so it's just
In
C4.
spite of
Cool,
the
cool,
clear
cool, cool.
and the undeniable reality, in spite of the objective numbers and statistics,
Objective.
in spite of the fact that in this room today, there are representatives from across the political spectrum, we will hear this kind of organized violence and terror will be dismissed. It will be dismissed as a partisan fiction.
Yeah.
A whole industry.
A whole
grew up
industry.
in our countries around the study of extremism. We have think tanks and fellowships and journals and consultancies with the unspoken understanding among them that the only kind of political violence that was a true threat to our system.
It's not the only kind, but it is the primary one. And objective facts bear that out. No matter how many times you want to make some tangential association with the Weather Underground or left-leaning people or whatever, it's not going to ever measure up to the sheer amount of fucking people who have been murdered by right-wing mass shooters. It's just not.
That only one kind of political violence was a true threat to the system. A bomb planted by a neo-Nazi group was a nefarious and murderous act of evil. It is. But a bomb planted by a Marxist revolutionary, well, that's just merely a tragic excess of idealism.
What the fuck? What the fuck are you? What bomb from a Marxist revolution? What are you fucking talking about? Oh, this motherfucker.
Perhaps its means were misplaced or overzealous, but its ends were virtuous and just. That's the implication of how they treated. For years, this extraordinary ideological prejudice was embedded in the way we talked about political violence and extremism. It was repeated again and again until it was accepted as the neutral and objective baseline, so entrenched in the mainstream conventional wisdom that it came to be regarded as an apolitical fact. It is the reason why, here in my country, so many people in positions of power have repeatedly dismissed acts of violence and even terrorism as legitimate forms of political expression, so long as they served a left-wing cause. It is why during those George Floyd so-called George...
I'm sorry. Like right now, yeah. Dog. You okay. No, I'm not gonna Fed post. I'm not gonna Fed post.
As criminals and extremists burned and looted their way
burned down the cities, burned down the country,
and nearly brought the country to its knees.
You remember that, Chad? Do you remember how it was all country brought to their knees?
The people conducting these acts of violence and terror. It is the reason for the now infamous image, maybe you all recall this, of a news anchor from a very prominent agency, a news anchor standing in a neighborhood consumed in flames. Meanwhile, the chyron on the bottom read that the protests were mostly...
Chyron, you fucking moron. And no, not everybody knows this iconic fucking piece of right-wing fash art that you saw on Facebook, you boomer cunt.
Peaceful. This was something worse than a double standard. Left-wing violence was not just excused. It was treated as sacrosanct.
Okay, first off, random looters is not left-wing violence. It's just not. There is no proof that there is any kind of organizational structure behind a bunch of people getting mad at police murdering them constantly with no repercussions, so deciding to fucking riot. It is the language of the unheard. But instead, no. It cannot be that there are problems with the structures. It must be that there is a concentrated Democrat look. God damn, dude.
Protected class unto itself. That era has to end. The coalition in this room today includes political leaders and experts and law enforcement officials from more than 60 countries across the world. You have come here from a wide range of governments, parties, and political persuasions. Some of your governments and ours disagree publicly. Sometimes we disagree sharply about trade, about energy, about immigration. You did not come here today because you have been persuaded on every single aspect of the American view of the world. You came here. You are here because 2 weeks ago, a 72-year-old woman was burned on over 80% of her body in her own home in Greece, and she died, executed by a firebomb because her daughter dared to stand for office. You are here today because for 5 days this winter, the lights went out in Berlin. The longest blackout in the city since the Second World War, sparked by an attack that left tens of thousands of households without power in the freezing cold and left an 83-year-old woman dead. You are here and you came because a month after that Berlin blackout, a French 23-year-old succumbed to traumatic brain injuries, beaten to death on the streets of Lyon by a group of far-left militant thugs. You are here because your political leaders are being attacked and stabbed and shot in your streets, because your businesses have been bombed,
is just fucking
because your railways have been sabotaged, because your police officers
citizen vigilante shit, man.
Burned. You are here because this is real, and it is getting worse, and it can no longer be denied, and it can no longer be ignored, because it is time to crush this evil forever.
Leftism.
The simple fact is, none of this that I've just described is new. Far-left political terrorism is
Oh,
not
come on, man.
a recent-day modern novelty. It is not a fiction manufactured by conservative politicians. For most of the modern era, it was in fact the dominant form of political violence. Every one of our friends here from the nations of the Western Hemisphere remember the decades of kidnappings and bombings and assassinations and executions, the violent terror of the
Oh yeah, everybody. Okay, that's fucking wild, dude. To be like, yeah, everybody here at Acme International, remember what those dang rascally roadrunners did. It's like, yeah, I'm sure the meeting of all the intelligence agencies in the world sure do remember what those dang commie revolutionaries did between bouts of you teaching insurgent groups how to fucking waterboard them and what pressure points to put a knife on one of their family members so they'll tell you where all their fucking zines are hidden or whatever the fuck. Like, the idea of like, yeah, no, hey, everybody here, CIA, Mossad, you remember those crazy leftist groups? Yeah. Hell yeah.
Tupamaros, of the Monteseros, of the FARC, of the ELN. You remember the inhuman savagery of Peru's Shining Path, the Maoist fanatics who massacred the peasant villages of Peru, hacking pregnant women and newborn infants to death with axes and machetes. You remember the tens of thousands of Marxist guerrillas trained to kill in Castro's terrorist camps. All of you here from Europe remember. You remember the machine gun massacres of Italy's Red Brigades, which held a 5-time prime minister captive for 55 days before subjecting him to a revolutionary so-called people's trial and executing him in 1978. You remember
Doesn't
the
that
Red
sound
Army
beautiful?
faction's nearly 3-decade campaign of bombings, kidnappings, and assassinations in Germany, murdering dozens and injuring hundreds more. You remember the 17 November organization in Greece, the Marxist extremists that terrorized Athens for more than a quarter century, including, by the way, shooting
Is he going to
my
do
country's
anything in the
CIA
current
station
century?
chief dead
Kind of doubt it.
outside of his home, in front of his wife.
This
as
sounds
they
like
were
a lot of
returning home
one-offs to me. I don't
from
know,
a
dude.
Christmas party. And here in America, we remember.
Please, oh God, please say Charlie Kirk, dude. Please compare Charlie Kirk, this useless skin flap of a fucking podcaster, Captain fucking Face Gums, and you're gonna compare him, I know it's coming, I feel it in my bones, to fucking prime ministers and elected representatives and shit. Like, yeah, hey, you guys might know what it's like to really lose people, but we lost a podcaster when you think about it.
Remember the same reign of deadly terror, justified by the same slogans, motivated by the same wicked ideas. We remember the Weather Underground, which bombed the Pentagon, which bombed...
Hell yeah, dude. Fucking Weather Underground. Oh, listen to this fucking mid-2000s Glenn Beck shit. Nehemia, thank you very much for $5. You can say there's no left-wing terrorism, but don't you remember Karl Marx himself butchered over 16 billion children? I always forget that one. Snowset 675. I love to reload during a battle.
Bombed the State Department and bombed the Capitol. We remember the Black Liberation Army, which staged armed robberies and executed police officers at point-blank range.
And I'm sure, and those police officers that never did anything at all that would have been disagreeable to black people. Police officers famously have never killed black people for no reason at all. You fucking skin tag.
We remember the Symbionese Liberation Army, which shot a public school superintendent to death with cyanide-packed hollow point bullets. In one 18-month period between 1971 and 1972,
fucking
the
shit,
FBI
man.
counted some 2,500 bombings on
That's such
American
a
soil,
terrible place for
a
that
rate of
turret because
nearly
you can't see
5
where it's facing
a
until
day.
you're already in the
The
corner.
overwhelming share of that violence.
Poop ass WMF, why am I not at Streamer University? What the fuck am I going to do at Kai Cenat Streamer University? No, streamer universe. That is fucking get rich quick bullshit, American Idol ass reality TV pyramid scheme. Like, I don't fucking no. I make content. I don't just do live streams to assholes on Kick. I got content to actually work on, unlike people who are like, oh yeah, I want to go to Streamer University to just be famous for fucking nothing.
Came from left-wing extremists. Between 1970 and 1980, 93%
Junior the Taurus, Streamer University. Y'all, Vesper is white. Who told you that?
of terrorist attacks in the West came from the far extremist.
Oh, hold on. How much? How much?
Between 1970 and 1980, 93% of terrorist attacks in the West came from the far extremist left.
Hey, what was going on between the 70s and the 80s? Huh? What was going on in the interstate? I just like Iran-Contra, COINTELPRO, Southeast Asia. Because I seem to remember something with Nicaragua. I seem to remember running guns. I seem to remember funneling drugs into inner city areas. There's no way to say why these reactions happen the way they do.
These are numbers that would shock most Americans today because
there's no way those numbers are true. It is probably true when you cook the books to say literally anything that goes against our political goals is left-wing extremism.
We've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist, or it's being exaggerated. But it does exist, and we're actually underestimating it. And our nations bear the scars to prove it. And today we face a new wave of this old evil. Here in the United States, the share of left-wing terrorist attacks and plots has risen to levels not seen in decades. In Germany, far-left violence has jumped by more than 40% in just the last year alone. In Greece, more than 80% of radical violence is now driven by far-left and anarchist actors. These are not abstract statistics. Americans have seen what those numbers mean. An all-out assault on our immigration officers, sniper attacks, explosives, armed ambushes.
Fucking shit. Why didn't I have the fucking... Oh, I was doing so good, too.
Catholic elementary school students as they pray. His gun marked with slogans like, "Where is your God now?" A healthcare executive.
That's not... See, here's the real problem. A healthcare executive. Ooh, yeah, the fucking poor violin. The problem is that they are lumping in, which is, again, completely predictable. They are lumping in literally anything they can under leftism. Are you an atheist? You're a leftist. Are you anti-Israel? You're a leftist.
Executed in cold blood in the streets. Multiple assassinations.
Again, Luigi, I talked about this in the... By the way, if you want a good companion piece to today's stream, go watch my video, Alone Together, and how it puts in very concise wording some of the things I've been trying to get out about hypernormalization and what we can do about everything just kind of feeling bad all the time. But one of the things I talk about is, as society continues to fragment and as these things become more hypernormalized, we're going to see more mass outbreaks of violence because that's the society we've created. We have created these little pressure cookers that are just going to crack people like walnuts. But what you're going to get is a lot of completely divergent political causes, like just complete batshit nonsense, which is kind of what you got with Luigi. Luigi is not a leftist. He is not even left-leaning. He's like a fucking, like, crypto bro. Like, Luigi is, at best, like a libertarian.
Attempts on a sitting
also, yeah, Nathan Yu, Luigi murdered, not terrorism.
President. And
Femme Maiden, yeah, we're already done with the Trump speech. It was the same fucking reheated garbage about election interference.
The murder of the greatest conservative activist of a generation. A man who happened to also be a husband and the father of 2 young children, shot and killed while speaking to a crowd of students This is a distinctive and unique evil.
Oh, I thought they were going to say this was a distinctive and unique forehead, which it was. PAC 1996. Remember, friends, the right obviously never did anything wrong in Germany, just the left. Yeah, funny that. Oh. Piero Crow, thank you for $2. They really want Charlie to be their horse whistle. It hasn't stuck. Like, it hasn't fucking stuck at all. It's not, like, nobody gave a fuck about Charlie, dog.
It has always been driven by a hatred, above all else, a hatred for civilization.
Is it for civilization? Well, and this is the thing that it always has to come back to a hate, like, it's the cartoon villain shit for me, right? Like, it's the fact that you got these grown ass men like Marco Rubio going out on stage basically saying that anybody on the left is like Megatron or Cobra. Like, it's not that they have issues with the way the system is organized, that they have issues with not being able to afford basic amenities, or being constantly ostracized, or being constantly fucking, like in the case of the Black Liberation Movement. Why would the Black Liberation Movement want to have armed resistance? I fucking wonder. It never goes into the actual issues that inspired any outbreaks of violence that may or may not have happened and may or may not have been connected to leftism. No, because those would be admitting in even just a tiny little bit some culpability in the system that people like Marco Rubio work so hard to uphold. So instead, we get these fucking like cartoon villains sold to us that, they what do the leftists hate? They hate civilization, and they hate God, and they hate puppies and unicorns. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, be fucking expecting honesty from Marco Rubio is too much. That one's on me. Nehemia, thank you very much for $5. Someone saying let's not fund a genocide as a leftist terrorist. Yeah, but a white nationalist burning down a synagogue in Mississippi, it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Like, you are the Israel Palestine shit's gonna get really fucking rough, I fear. Especially for activists.
It is a revolt of the worst against the best, a revolt of the weak and the cowardly against the strong and the good. It is perpetrated by those who cannot build, who cannot create, who cannot achieve great things, and take their revenge upon the world for their own inadequacy by seeking to destroy those who can. This is what radical leftism is. It may wear various different slogans and ideologies across place and time. They can call themselves anti-capitalist, or anti-imperialist, or communist, or anarchist, or Marxist, but the fundamental character is always the same. It's always the same. It is a poisonous resentment cloaked in the language of equality and justice and liberation, an overwhelming need to tear down what greater men have built.
Greater men have built.
What is beautiful and what is right on behalf of people who are only filled with ugliness and have nothing else to offer the world. Through violence,
like, again, it is just they are the bad guys. That's it. It is just they are the bad guys. Hey, why are leftists? Why do they want to kill you? Oh no, it's the same shit that they have been fucking saying about the Middle East forever. Is that they just hate our way of life? Like by the way. If you didn't grow up in the early 2000s, it's really hard as an American to depict how fucking insanely jingoistic American culture was about the Middle East. Because literally, grown-ass adults would tell you as a child, if you asked, hey, why are we at war? They would tell you, it was because they hate our way of life. It was because people were convincing children. The narrative was sold to us on television that the reason we had to fucking ship off college kids to go die in a desert we have no fucking business being in. And they wanted you to believe that being over there and murdering families of children, teaching through CIA black site operations and zero units, teaching the local populace and local militia how to then go out and murder and kill their own people. And the entire time, the narratives that we were sold is that they were out there fighting for freedom, that we were spreading democracy some fucking how. by going out and ruining the lives and families of a fucking goat farmer in the middle of Afghanistan who've spent generations minding their fucking business, or by sending Blackwater mercenaries into a fucking marketplace to let loose with a minigun like a goddamn skeet shoot, that was spreading democracy. That these were necessary measures because they just hate us for our freedoms. They hate us for our American cheeseburger-eating, truck-loving way of life. Fucking, I'm so annoyed that this shit still works, honestly. Snow said, thank you for $5. They shudder when black people are armed for self-defense, saying nothing but Proud Boys carry to intimidate. Interesting. Yeah, you didn't hear a lot of shit about this time, by the way. You don't hear a lot of shit about when the Patriot Front motherfuckers walked through. You remember how Patriot Front for a long time were the same people perpetuating this shit were like, oh yeah, no, they're deep state. No, they're actually Antifa. No, they're controlled opposition to make us look bad. And where the fuck were those narratives once Trump and Hegseth and Patel have complete control of all this shit, apparently? And Patriot Front just walks through the fucking DC National Mall before July 4th. Fucking, oh, everybody's just like, oh, hey. Nobody fucking paying attention. Suddenly it's a little bit less important if they're paid actors or agitators or any of that shit. Because they aren't. They never have been. Not gonna lie, I don't exactly disprove the stereotype of Jew hellbent on tearing down the West because the Talmud said so. Lol. I mean, hey, look, I'll support that. Yeah, rules for thee, but not for me.
Their ugliness on all of us. The old dogma was wrong. The old dogma was wrong. None of this is driven by idealism. It is not utopian. In fact, it is the opposite. One of the criticisms you sometimes hear of communism, for example, is that it sounds good in theory, but it never works in practice.
Oh, shit. Sorry, Baker.
That's actually not true. Communism does not
Has
sound
never
good in
works
theory.
in practice, yeah.
The world it envisions for all of us.
Are we
small,
getting the same, like
flat,
the fucking basic PragerU ass description of communism? Well, what is communism? Well, Timmy, communism is when you take something and give it to somebody else and they didn't earn it. Is that what we're gonna get now? I bet it is, dude. I bet it is.
Of all exception, drained of all that is good and noble in the human soul. The world it envisions is a world without courage, a world without creativity or ambition, a world without
the idea of saying capitalism is responsible for creativity. Oh, that's that good dumb bullshit. That's that good right there.
Glory or great causes to strive towards, without a world without miracles, without myths, without men who rise above the rest.
A world without miracles. Oh man, what else are you gonna list, dude? Communism is when no iPhone. The less iPhone, the God, I fucking wish communism was when no iPhone.
Do incredible and extraordinary things. And the world communism envisions is a world without God.
See what I'm fucking talking about? It's just like, oh, without communism, we get the rocket ship and we go real high and we could do cool things and we have Legos and we have Marvel and we got Funko Pops. And with communism, we can't have any of those things. This is my presentation. I fucking hate you, Marco Rubio. Look, I'm just gonna say, I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say that there are people I would advocate bringing back drawing and quartering with, and Marco Rubio fits the bill. Thank you very much. Bonglaw for $5. The early 2000s was a wild time to be a rural political dissident. I was constantly basically told, if you don't like Merca, I'll help you pack. Yeah, I fucking hate that shit. The like, love it or leave it. These colors don't run. If you don't like it here, why don't you go somewhere else? And it's like, motherfucker, I don't like it here because of the economic immobility. That's the top of the list among many, many other things. Did we get got? Or are we back? Are we Joe back? It says I don't have any dropped frames, so I don't know what's going on.
These architects of revolutionary violence, the towering achievement of our civilization, for them, it's an unbearable humiliation, a reminder of what they cannot do, and a reminder of what they cannot be. So they choose instead to destroy. They attack pipelines. Woo! They attack railroads. They attack power grids and laboratories. The physical embodied symbols of power.
I'm gonna say it, not fucking enough. Trying to do this old chintzy, oh, they just hate all the Rockefellers, they just hate all the, oh, dang, oh, geez, won't somebody think of the billionaires? When all of this bullshit is poisoning, literally poisoning and destroying the last vestiges of natural beauty this fucking forsaken country had. Fucking miss me with this shit, dude.
Power and invention and achievement. This is the nature of the terrorism we face today. They despise the West because the West is great. This is an international.
They hate us because we're good and they're bad. This shit wouldn't cut it in a fucking rejected episode of Street Sharks. Like, the Darkstalkers cartoon has more fucking pathos than this dipshit.
Conference. Because we are facing we are facing a transnational threat. These are not distinct and isolated cells. They are interconnected networks.
Please. Oh, God. Marco, if you tell me ISIS is connected to the DSA, if you tell me Hamas is connected to trans people and Antifa, I'm gonna fucking bust, dude. I'm gonna fucking bust.
They do not recognize our borders. They do not believe, in fact, in the nation state itself. They coordinate, they communicate, they travel, they train, and they...
Fucking... Hey, Marco, what fucking leftists are you talking about? Because can we fucking import some of them? You're talking... Leftists organizing? Leftists training and coordinating in my America? Where? Point it out on the map so I can go there, dog. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, a coalition of leftists, you say, in America? I would love to fucking see it. I would love to see it.
Act.
Thank you very much, Snowset, for $2. Transnational revolution. I fucking wish. NBTNC, thank you for $5. So, one of our toilets is broken. We forgot our towels. How's the stream going? Sorry about that, NBTNC. That's rough. Goblin Culinarian, me rolling up to Marco with a One Piece manga like Diogenes showing Plato a dead chicken. Behold, communism. Unfortunately, I think even though I myself don't care for One Piece, I think he is completely resistant to any kind of artistic expression. Yeah, Lennon Cat. My joke is that you couldn't get three leftists to organize a bake sale without them calling each other lib, tanky, and fed. No, it's the fucking old joke about Jewish people that, and I only say this because it was a joke told to me when I was writing an essay years ago by like 3 different Jewish people. They were like, so many people, if you ask a Jewish person their opinion on something, the first thing they'll tell you is not their opinion on something, but is in fact the adage about, if you tell if you get 3 Jews in a room and ask their opinion on something, you'll get 3 different opinions. Like that's the first thing they will tell you, right? And that's the exact same thing. It's like you get 3 leftists in a room, you're going to get 3 different opinions on leftism.
Together, sharing the same infrastructure, sharing the same enemies, sharing the same mission. Antifa militants and their comrades travel from across Europe and to the Americas to participate in each other's attacks, to funnel propaganda and training materials and target information.
All right, give me 1 second.
Through shared encrypted channels. moving through underground networks of safe houses and finance, and sustain their operations through transnational funds. And they work alongside hostile foreign states that share their mission, like Iranian proxy networks, who are
Two Jews, three opinions. Yep.
intimately tied to leftist militant
You get
groups
4 opinions. Yep.
around the
See,
world.
I don't tell the joke right. But yes, you are correct. I think it was 2 Jews, 3 opinions is the thing.
The Cuban regime's sprawling intelligence and ideological network.
The Cuban regime, by the way, if y'all don't know Marco Rubio's eternal hate boner for Cuba, like he is on some real fucking Cold War McCarthyism. We got to kill all those Reds shit, especially when it comes to Cuba. He would love nothing more than to fucking come while watching Cuba be reduced to a smoldering cinder, along with all the breakthrough medical research they've fucking done, despite our shitty embargo and humanitarian crisis we've inflicted upon them. So the idea that they're like, oh yeah, Cuba is fucking funding this shit. Come on, man.
Helped to build the far left in our country and in our hemisphere.
Hey, Marco, I'm going to just... If Cuba's helping to build the far left, who put Cuba in the precarious position they're in? Is it Western foreign policy? Again, it's like these things are based on systems and they all come from places, and these ideologies develop not just out of the fucking ether because leftism is a bunch of cartoon villains going, yes, we're going to get those Christians and those Walmart shoppers. Meh. It's almost like people being deprived of rights, human decency, lead to these coalitions of resistance. Come on, man.
It remains inextricably linked to the far left groups and movements across and beyond the West. Today's far left terrorists can raise money in one country. They can host their communications in a second country.
Oh.
They can receive training in a third country. They can recruit militants in a fourth country.
Who are these planet hopping leftists that I don't know about? Like they're talking, I know I'm playing Metal Gear on the screen, so it's a little bit germane to the conversation, but like, who the fuck are we talking about who has this, like they're talking about Big Boss. They're talking about outer fucking heaven here. Like these radical leftists. You can train them, you can abduct them in one country, go and train them in another, and then dispatch them like mother-based soldiers. God damn, dude. That fucking whips.
And then together strike a target in a fifth country. And so we have no choice but to confront this menace together. We will either cooperate across our borders, or the terrorists will continue to exploit the gaps between them. Under President Trump, for the first time, the United States is building the infrastructure, the partnership, and the strategy to defeat the scourge of far-left terror. The President signed National Security Presidential Memorandum number 7.
Nehemiah, thank you very much for 20 ways. 3 rabbis are discussing the Talmud, Ben, David, and Sam. Ben and David have one reading while Sam has another, so he goes to ask God to agree with him. God says he's right. Ben and David say, man, now it's 2 against 2. That's pretty good.
Outlining a comprehensive strategy
2 against 2 is fucking fun.
2
2 against arguing with God. That's a pretty fucking good bit.
Last November, the State Department designated 4 violent far-left extremist groups as foreign terrorist organizations. And there will be more.
Oh, please, dude. NBTNC, thank you for $5. They have conversations and go to the gym. We must stab them.
Designations soon. In December,
he says terror exactly like George Bush. No, that's probably where he fucking learned it. Terror.
We announced rewards for justice, offering up to $10 million for
Mingle bells. Yeah, you're noticing that, huh? The leftists who want to destroy society because they can't create, but have created an international system of training and funding.
Information disrupting the financing behind these groups. In May, we convened the first counterterrorism law enforcement workshop, joining American law enforcement officials and their counterparts in our partner nations together to map and develop strategies for dismantling these networks. The next workshop will be co-hosted with our partners in Germany. The coalition we're building together is already bearing fruit. And we are here today to build on that work. We can and we must identify and map this threat and rebuild our counterterrorism architecture to defeat it.
Rebuild
Just
from
as we
what,
have done
dude?
together before. Now we must do it together again. Through intelligence and information sharing, through coordinated law enforcement strategy, through financial targeting and disruption, we will dismantle these networks brick by brick. It is time for the people of the civilized world to defend ourselves, to stand united against this encroaching darkness.
Encroaching.
Fight for what is ours. It is easy to destroy great things. It is far more difficult to make them. The enemies of civilization are only capable of
Gina Ragnos, yeah, keep in mind what these people basically mean by anarchists and Marxists is basically anyone they deem a threat. Yeah. And it's why I find the like centrist like the people who still hold to this idea of like, no, fuck you, Tanky, fuck you, Marxists, you anarchists don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's like, it's not like the time for this destiny bullshit, the time for this like, oh yeah, I'm not going to agree with a communist against conservatives. Absolutely not. It's so fucking, we're so fucking far past that. So fucking.
They're only capable of destroying great things. All they know is destruction. But we have built great things together. We have done it time and again.
Snow said, I have a difficult time deciding whether or not Metal Gear is Western propaganda. I love the character's world. I mean, I would say no, but I would also say it's more thoughtful than that. Like, I think the ideas at the core of Metal Gear, the aesthetics of Metal Gear, yeah, they do lend themselves to that. But the ideas at the core of it are far more egalitarian and far more leaning towards fighting injustice. Like, Snake literally helps revolutionaries in Peace Walker. Snake defects, or Naked Snake defects from the government after a successful mission makes him like a fucking legendary super soldier. And he's like, nah, this is some bullshit. I see how y'all do people. I'm fucking out. Right? Like, there is a lot of understanding. The thing that Kojima, one of the things he does well with political intrigue is understanding how people are trapped within the systems of control, right? Yeah, and Smug Foxy, I think that's more it. Like, at worst, it's Kojima reverse weaving out. And I think that is that's a more culturally interesting frame, I think, to look at it from. And it's true. Like, when you look at something like Metal Gear Solid 3, and compare that to a game with similar themes like Black Ops, right? A game that they are both incredibly pulpy, both 60s action games, both have to do with themes of control and versus freedom and all this other stuff. But the Americanoid-ass version that is uninterested in any deeper conversation than, hey, maybe the CIA is a little bit morally gray sometimes, but we got to kill those commie Reds. Like, people, by the way, people remember Black Ops being way more morally gray than it actually is. Versus something like Metal Gear Solid 3, which is so much of the aesthetics of that game aren't based in like nationalism or jingoistic paranoia. By a transitive property, they kind of are, but it is more based in Kojima fucking loving 60s media. Kojima, like the first paramedic call in that game is like a 10-minute rant where she just talks about how cool Godzilla is. You know, like, there is stuff in there that is just straight up, when you have the M50 as Snake and you hold down the trigger, he just yells like Rambo and fires it from the hip. Like, so much of the intro to that game is just a 007 sequence. Or 007 like intro sequence. So I think that's where, and granted, that is a lot more of an obvious gathering of homages. But between that and then the more cyberpunk stuff of Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 4, which I think also has a lot of influence from like Mamoru Oshii and his work, I think there is a lot more to it than just the military fantasy of Metal Gear, if that makes sense. Anyway, let me.
We know what we must do, and now we must do it. Thank you for coming today.
Terrible, dude.
And now I want to introduce someone I work with very closely and has been a leader in this field. He is a Deputy Chief of Staff and one of the key advisors to President Trump. He also heads up all of our Homeland Security initiatives and understands this issue probably as well as anyone in the United States government, Stephen Miller.
Great, dude. Oh, if you thought that was bad, wait for this fucking nipple head.
Good morning, distinguished leaders and guests. It's good to see so many familiar faces. And thank you, of course, to Secretary of State Rubio for organizing this conference and for leading this initiative. Here in the United States, we have taken the necessary and essential action of formally recognizing left-wing violence as a form of political terrorism that is a direct threat to our national security and the survival of our Republican form of government. President Trump issued a directive. In our parlance, it's called a National Security Presidential Memorandum.
All right, chat. What's the frequency?
NSPM
What's Merrill's frequency?
7, to be exact. That directs, for the first time in American history, all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists that are operating in our country. It's very important to understand that left-wing political terrorism
141.25. I think you're right. I think you're right.
Ultimate end, the overthrow of our system and form of government. And we've seen this has taken place many times in many places throughout the years. And
look at the back of the case real quick. I
can't. Many examples.
I'm playing on PS4. What are you talking about?
Left-wing terrorism always ends in bloodshed, misery, and suffering. It only can travel in one direction. There's no point at which the left-wing terrorist is satisfied with his gains and ceases progressing. Inevitably, left to run its course, it always becomes a gulag. It always becomes the mass imprisonment of political enemies, the stripping of their rights.
Oh, does it? Oh, does it, Stephen? Oh, does it? But the person fucking advocating building the fucking gulags and the concentration camps, you little mini Hitler motherfucker. Oh, 140.15.
Inflicting immense pain, humiliation, suffering in order to establish complete and total control. Control through psychological and physical and actual terror. And we have to understand that that is the scope and the extent of the threat that we face. And as Secretary Rubio also pointed out, this is an international network. Antifa, as an example, operates in dozens of countries all throughout the world. They share common networks of funding, organization, and information sharing. And so all of our intelligence agencies and law enforcement entities should be collaborating and coordinating and working together in order to root out these organizations. One of the hallmarks of left-wing violence and terrorism is its completely pretextual and disingenuous appeal to civil liberties in an effort to shield its own violence. This is the tactic that the left always uses to try to protect itself from facing criminal punishment.
I hate this motherfucker so fucking much.
That we are wise enough and strong enough to understand that these appeals must fall on deaf ears.
Snowset, $5. Thank you very much for $5. This man should be afraid of being in broad daylight. Well, he was, but then Deacon Frost figured out the trick with the sunscreen, and then now he can go out for like a little bit.
When the leftist, who does not believe in freedom, who does not believe in civil rights, who does not believe in any ordered notion of justice, protests that we are violating his rights, understand that he is lying to try to persuade people who are not closely following the political scene that some injustice has been perpetrated against him. We must.
Oh,
stay
it
the
just
course and
unlocks
be
Merrills.
completely
Okay, that's
unflinching
crazy.
in
Yeah,
the
I was doing
pursuit
140.15.
of
What the
justice
fuck?
against these enemies of civilization. If the left is allowed to use the real or actual threat of violence to destabilize our institutions, then those institutions cannot and will not succeed. So here, in the
Oh,
United
I have to
States,
get
for
out. I'm in the
example,
fucking jamming range.
we saw
Okay.
in the recent past clear threats of violence against
Ooh.
our Supreme Court to try to shape how they rule on upcoming decisions. The leftist does this with the full desire, intent, and understanding that the threat of violence against a public figure or their family is meant to cow them into behaving or acting or conducting themselves differently. You had the combination of when you've reached that point, it demonstrates how deeply the cancer has begun to infest your society, where people have created an internal rationalization structure to justify unsanctioned violence against the state and state
but the
actors
state-sanctioned
to achieve a
violence, that's
political
totally fine and
end.
cool. That's totally chilling cash money,
We have
huh?
to use every lawful and legitimate tool that we have to demonstrate that justice will be served and delivered, and to prove that these kinds of tactics and techniques will ultimately fail. If the leftist learns and observes that their violence and criminal activity helps and ultimately succeeds in achieving their desired political end, they will be endlessly emboldened.
Can you not pick?
Here in the United States, we've seen a growing.
Are you not able to
and
hold
deeply
up
alarming
enemies in
increase
Metal Gear Solid
in
1?
attempted assassinations against public figures. Most notably, of course, the multiple assassination attempts against President Trump, the successful assassination attempt against Charlie Kirk.
That's a fucking insane way to say that. They tried to get Trump, and you know what? Fair dues. They dunked on us with Charlie. I'm not gonna lie. They got us. Okay, egg on our face. That's a fucking insane way. The successful assassination attempt on Charlie Kirk. Oh, I'm sorry. That's funny. Yeah, I think MGS. Man, I am so, because again, I've only played. I played a bunch of Metal Gear Solid 2. I just replayed it as part of my like PS2 thing this year, and I've only ever played Twin Snakes for Metal Gear 1. So I'm over here like, oh, can I get in this locker? No, like, damn, they really stepped up their game for 2.
Many others. This is a fatal cancer to civilization. And the greatest risk that we have is that our institutions have grown too soft and too cowardly to be able to defend themselves against a mortal threat. If your civilization is your home, you must defend it with the same passion and force as if an enemy intruder is inside your own house where your family lives. That is the level of dedication and urgency that is required. And the greatest threat is that even though there are far more of us, there are far more people who believe in order and civilization and liberty and the rule of law, is that if we are softer than those who seek to end us, then the smaller.
So what you're saying is we got to get hard? Miller, what you're saying is we got to get hard? I'm already there.
But more radical minority will succeed. It is easy to dismiss what I'm saying and to say, surely it cannot be that bad. It cannot be that.
Chaotic Kitten with suggestions on creating a scene from Inglourious Bastards count as Fed posting. No, because it could be any scene. It could be that scene where Brad Pitt goes, Arrivederci. Like, could be anything.
But again, I point to the examples in our own country where, for example, our Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which has been duly statutory authorized to carry out routine enforcement of immigration law, has been subjected to an over 8,000% increase in violent assaults. These are not one-off episodes. This is repeat, systemic, organized, funded insurrection and armed resistance against the federal government. There was a sniper from a sniper's nest who, using an assault rifle, tried to shoot ICE officers in Dallas, Texas.
What the? All right, Kojima, listen here, Kojima. What What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean the basement level of an Alaskan military base, the basement level of a frozen tundra military base, has trap doors that lead to a falling death? What the fuck are you talking about?
Of the episodes that we're talking about, where we have had repeated, direct, violent attacks on federal law enforcement in order to veto the ballot.
Awesome Stella, the school is straight up advocating for people who don't like the government to be shot in the street. That is Stephen Miller's MO. That is his modus operandi. That is what he has wanted. More than anybody else, Miller has been the most steadfast, craven, fringe character of the Trump administration. He is the Nazi monster everybody kind of thinks Trump is. Trump doesn't give a fuck that much about all this shit. Oh shit. Oh god. Ah shit. Oh fuck. Fucking poop from an ass. Come on, man. Oh, that's horse garbage like apple cores and shit. All right.
Box with violence. And the leftist justifies this violence to himself by saying that they alone are the arbiters of what is right or wrong. Not the law, not history, not civilization, not public opinion, and certainly not God. The leftist assumes for himself judge, jury, executioner. But let's not pretend for a moment that these radical leftists, these terrorists, are operating from a place of sincere political conviction. Sure, there are plenty of useful idiots that they use who may believe these discredited ideologies. The leftist is fundamentally motivated
ideology.
By envy.
You know what he reminds me of? He actually reminds me a lot of the hate preachers. That's the way he talks. It just has that same kind of staggered, stilted feeling.
By hatred, by jealousy. The leftist looks at what is beautiful and what is good and what is natural and is filled with envy and hatred. The leftist looks at a perfect family with the perfect life and a perfect job.
Are you fucking kidding me? Where the fuck did they come from?
That goes to church every Sunday and is filled with a feeling of inadequacy and jealousy.
See, it's this fucking psychobabble bullshit of what do you mean the leftist, the average Antifa trans person is out here being like, oh, those dang people going to church and loving Jesus. Oh, I hate, no, nobody gives a fuck. All right, we're going to try and go over here. Whew. All right, made it.
And they covet, and they turn those emotions ultimately into a desire to subjugate, to oppress, and to inflict pain and suffering. It's not a coincidence that when you look at these violent Antifa demonstrations, you see any photograph of those who were assembled.
Here we go.
To be blunt.
Do we get... Oh, first off, Stephen Miller. But I'm going to stop you real quick, Stevie. Are you about to insult other people's appearance? You look like Skeletor had a pimple, dude. What the fuck are you... Don't go there. But I guarantee, I know, I feel blue hair coming in my future. This is my... I think we're going to hear blue hair.
Not one of the people that is demonstrating looks like a normal person. Not one looks normal. They're all deformed in some way, in their appearance, in their dress.
That fucking white nationalism, that eugenics just jumping out of him again. They're all deformed in some way. Hell yeah, dude.
In their mannerism. Why is that? Why? If you look at two photographs and you see a normal American street, you see an Antifa protest. Why do the people that are violently demonstrating, why is there not one normal-looking person among them? Every one of them, through the course of their life and their decisions, has scarred their body and their appearance.
Do you think
many different ways?
Any of these other people give a fuck about this shit, by the way?
Their inner hatred.
Ooh.
Trust your instincts. To all people and across all civilizations, you know what normal is. You know what beautiful is. You know what good is. You know that families are right. You know that children are precious and beautiful and must be protected. You know that the criminal and the junkie and the predator.
Why does he talk like that? He talks like an alien trying to pass a fucking first grade English class. The predator. God damn, what?
To normal, healthy living. This is so much deeper than issues about taxation and regulation, although they're incredibly important. It's about normal, healthy, ordered living. And the violent leftists, for these deep-seated reasons, going back to the earliest wisdom taught to us in the Bible about coveting. And I'm not talking about rich versus poor. I'm talking about a much deeper kind of coveting. Coveting people who are morally superior, who are superior in the simple, truthful way they live their lives. People that they look at who are happy and ordered and peaceful and contributing to their communities. That burns an ember in them, and that's how you end up with the horrors we've seen throughout history, where good families are dragged out into the street and executed. And you might say, again,
is he going to fucking talk about the Russian family? Is that where he's going with this?
You're describing a future that seems impossible to conceive of. When it comes to preventing these horrors, it is the burden and the duty of good people of all walks of life to understand that you will always be accused of raising the alarm too loudly. If you wait until the point where the worst outcome is so obvious that no one can deny it, you've already lost the battle. That's the fundamental point. If you say, I will not raise this alarm until the threat is so present and so clear and so obvious and so imminent that none can deny it, well, it's already too late. It's already too late. I would rather prevent a threat from occurring and be accused for the rest of my life of having falsely raised the alarm.
So what he is advocating here is thought crime. Like every see, and this is the fucking thing that pisses me off about it. For decades, the libertarian line, the line from people like Alex Jones, Glenn Beck, it has been all about American freedom, and we can't let, even though we might agree with these things, we can't let these dangerous precedents be set. And there is no such conviction on the American right, no veneer of conviction, because honestly, you could probably convince them of all this shit a decade, 15 years ago, if you just packaged it the right way. But at least people would try to be like, yeah, you know, we can't do this. This is anti-democratic. And now we openly have people like Miller coming out here being like, yeah, I don't give a fuck if I'm accused of thought crime. Because that's what they're saying. He is saying that, like, oh yeah, if we get it wrong, that's still fine. If we arrest people, if we say that they did something they didn't actually do, and it comes out later that they didn't do that, and people spend 40, 50 years in jail and they're entirely innocent, yeah, but we protected everybody. From the leftists, from the communists.
Knowing in myself that I was right, then for fear of being judged, having waited too long until the point of no return has been crossed. The good news is that we are far away from the point of no return. So all of us should organize together and work together for the good and the benefit of all the people in our societies, of all walks of life, of all persuasions, to deliver for them what they are justly entitled to, which is to live with safety, with fundamental human dignity, and with the ability to live.
Snowset, thank you for inviting us. Out of everyone in the current administration, Miller's the only one listed in the SPLC's list of extremists. That's actually kind of, I guess he kind of is the, like, Russ Vought is up there, but he's not exactly in the direct administration. No, I mean, that tracks. He is the most mask-off fascist in government. I would put Hegseth up there too, but Hegseth is far more of a meathead. Like, Hegseth is a fucking Jim Bro dipshit idiot, whose politics extend as far as, like, yeah, politics is when guys are super buff and really cool and hot, and women make me a sandwich. That's Pete Hegseth. That's his entire political platform summed up right there. Whereas somebody like Miller draws up plans every night for extermination camps. That's his version of having fun. I fucking guaranteed it.
In peace and harmony.
Ben Tramer, 682. Ben Tramer. Sorry. Stephen Miller wasn't bullied enough as a kid. Yeah, it goes back to the old Elon Musk thing. Is that like, look, sometimes bullying is nature's way of correcting course. Like we would, if whatever kid in South Africa who pushed Elon Musk down a flight of stairs when he was 7 had just like really given him just an extra shoulder check, hey, we would be in a different and better world. I'm just saying. Namia, thank you very much for $5. Some twinks die and some twinks get completely obliterated. Miller is the latter. I don't think Miller was ever a twink. No way in hell. Fucking who's that other fucker? Nick Fuentes. Now that's somebody who's getting obliterated. God, you've heard of twink death. You have not heard of twink re-death. Bruce Magson, thank you for $10. Never let anyone forget that far-right terror accounts for 2/3 of attacks in the past decade. The only studies I'm finding that it has it less has categories like religious separated. Yeah. Funny that. Nabia, thank you for $5. Dude looks like he read a phrenology book and got surgery to be more Nordic. I wouldn't kind of fucking be surprised, really.
With their families and neighbors. Thank you all, and God bless.
Oh, that was it? That was it?
Subject of an assassination. I'm going to go off script for a minute, which is always dangerous, but I'm going to remind everyone.
Why do I know this guy? Who is this dude?
Good morning.
I know his fucking face.
And before I proceed, I'm going to go off script for a minute, which is always dangerous, but I'm going to remind everyone in this room and all the media that
I think I saw this guy at CPAC. This guy looks so fucking familiar. Media breakdown. Thank you for $4.99. I had someone say center moratoriums mean the red states can just have the investment. Then you can't spend profits if you thirst to death. Yeah, Scott Bessent. That's yep. All right. Yes, he is I believe, Labor Secretary. Okay, Treasury Secretary. That's the one.
The subject of an assassination attempt, February 2024. That I was always dangerous, but I'm going to remind everyone in this room and all the media that I was the subject of an assassination attempt, February 2024.
Damn, shame it didn't stick.
Addled left-wing activist.
By a what addled?
That I was the subject of an assassination attempt, February 2024, by an addled left-wing activist 2 hours after being sworn into my job. So any of you who want to report that this is a fiction and does not exist, be there for the sentencing this August.
Wait, why the fuck are you going in front of a group of international intelligence operatives and being like, yeah, no, come on down. Like you're fucking inviting them to a block party cookout? What the fuck are you? Come on down to the sentencing if you don't believe. God, these people are so fucking unserious. Assassination attempt. 11 hours ago, reveals left-wing assassination attempt. All right, here we go. Massachusetts man. Blah, blah, blah. Ryan Michael English. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro. I fucking forget. I forget Jeanine Pirro has an actual place in this clown ass administration. I want more facts about this because they talk about opens up about assassination attempt. That's just a video about the same thing we just fucking saw. Of course, I have to fucking go to Le Monde. Yeah, reveals by saying nothing. Armed with a folding knife and 2 Molotov cocktails. Surrendered and told a Capitol Police officer he had been there to kill Scott Bessent. Okay, that's like... That is not an assassination attempt. If an attempt was not made, you don't get to call it an attempt. Blah, blah. I'm sorry. Yeah, he was armed with a folding knife and 2 Molotov cocktails. First off, not the sturdiest plan I've ever seen. And then he turned himself in, having done nothing. Like, that's like crossing a road, using a crosswalk, getting to the other side, and then being like, oh my God, I almost got hit. Did you see that shit? No. Just because there was a car there previously that had you been there at the same time, you might have, but you weren't, so you didn't. What the fuck? What are you fucking talking about? An assassination attempt? You were fighting the postal guy. Like, the dude came locked with a fucking Swiss Army knife and 2 Molotov cocktails. Oh. Initially planned to assassinate Trump's defense secretary or Mike Johnson, the complaint said. He switched his target to Bessent after learning his confirmation hearing was taking place on Monday. What? This is the most... Look, I don't say false flag or anything very often. What do you mean? The narrative is the dude went to D.C., nixed 2 of his plans. He's like, you know what? Not Hegseth. That doesn't really... Tuesday doesn't really work for me. And then it comes down to Scott. Scott's here. And then after deciding I'm going to kill Scott, is like, you know what? Hey, police officer, can I tell you something? I was gonna kill this guy, but I'm not gonna. You should just take me in cuffs. Come on, man. Come on, man. Vodka. Molotov cocktails were filled with vodka, and a gray cloth soaked in hand sanitizer was stuck in the top of the bottles. English was arrested for carrying an incendiary device, and so that was it. Which, by the way, there's no guarantee those Molotovs would have even fucking worked. That was a concept of an assassination attempt at best. iClone, just remember the anti-DSI guy who was explicitly not trying to kill Cash. Oh God, I forgot about that. That's one of the funniest parts this year. Is the dude who like just libs, man.
So, good morning. Thank you, Secretary Rubio, for convening this ministerial and for the invitation to be here. We are here together because the resurgence of political terrorism, transnational in design, and far-left in doctrine is no longer the concern of any one nation. It demands a response that draws upon the distinct and combined strengths of every government represented here today. Every government. Ours begins where every campaign of terror does. Its financial lifeblood. And at President Trump's direction, the United States Treasury is bringing the full weight of our authorities to defend the integrity of the U.S. global financial systems. More than 20 years ago, in the wake of 9/11, Treasury became the first finance ministry in the world to establish an office dedicated to disrupting the funding networks of terrorist organizations. Treasury's Office of Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, referred to as TFI, was created in recognition of the reality that America's financial system is essential to its national security. TFI's mandate to identify, disrupt, and disable illicit foreign funds that threaten our homeland has become one of the Treasury's defining responsibilities. And today, we are extending that abiding mission to meet an evolving threat. The resurgence of organized political terrorism has long occupied a blind spot. The international community has struggled to identify this danger, much less defeat it. But as the threat of terrorism evolves, the institution tools that defend against it must adapt. We once understood terrorism principally as an external menace that is no longer the world we inhabit. Increasingly, we are confronting sophisticated, organized networks that cross
I would like
border-
to have, because they keep talking about this shit as like there are, like, no, literally, I've used the cartoon analogy before, but like it's fucking Cobra. Like they're talking about it as if it's this clandestine operation. Even Trump earlier today was talking about the deep state in these same tones, and it's like, okay, who? Like give me one example. Give me one concrete example of the things you're talking about.
To incite violence within them. Meanwhile, old ideological boundaries are now giving way to new operational alliances. The unified front between international Marxism and radical Islamic movements need not share the same ultimate vision to share the same immediate enemy of free and self-governing societies. That convergence should concern every government represented in this room. These terrorists understand an enduring truth. Societies are rarely subverted from afar until they have first been weakened from within. So as it tears at the social fabric that allows our societies to function, left-wing terrorism is the visible manifestation of a much broader and more insidious.
All right. Rise Again, thank you for $2. All of that far left money that keeps flowing. I fucking wish it would flow down to me. Snow said, thank you for $2. ICE is a terrorist organization. Focus on that. No, you see, because as Miller talked about, that's just good old down home American stuff. That's not terrorism. Nahamia, thank you for $5. We need someone with gumption and money and moxie like Charles G. Gauthier. If you don't know, look it up. Yes, go look it up.
Effort to undermine the philosophies that built Western civilization and sustain all we hold dear.
Why do I do Dead Domain? Why do you do liberal apologetics and disavow socialist projects with CIA propaganda? When have I done that? When do I do liberal apologetics and disavow? When have I disavowed a socialist project? Boat Night, thank you for $2. They've said nothing. What is left-wing terrorism? Pretty much anything they can call left-wing terrorism. I'm awaiting. Oh, do I want to go out that? I think it's that way. Oh shit, this is gonna be, oh fuck, this is gonna be the lasers, right?
Some of these activities are overt: bombings, assassinations, and organized violence in our streets. Others are quieter: campaigns to suppress speech, intimidate political opposition, and sabotage our national institutions. Of course, whatever form they take, none of these attacks sustain themselves. Violence requires money, channels through which funding can move, and institutions behind which it can hide. Increasingly, legitimate nonprofit and charitable structures are being exploited as a mechanism to conceal the movement of illicit funds to support political terrorism. For Treasury, the application of our authorities.
God, this guy, oh my God, I thought the other guy was fucking boring. This sucks shit, man.
Of our mission. Through our Office of Foreign Assets Control, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and IRSCI, we have spent decades developing the world's most sophisticated financial counterterrorism capabilities.
I just die.
And now we are mobilizing some of the same tools that we have deployed against terrorists abroad to confront this emerging threat here.
Want me to unban the troll? Yeah. Oh no, I thought I didn't know you banned them. Yeah, no, like fucking. I want to hear what they have to say. I didn't know you banned them.
At home, like every form of illicit finance, these networks rely on the global financial system. It is our mandate to deny terrorist groups access to those channels. Now, we think of nonprofits and charities as good, altruistic organizations, and most of them are. We think they represent the very best of civil society. Many of them do.
Fucking shit,
but
man.
The very qualities that make these institutions worthy of the public's trust can also make them appealing.
The speech is trying it, but yeah. Use the cigarette to reveal. Well, I'm trying. Snow said I'm trying. I'm trying to reveal the lasers.
To those who endeavor to exploit them.
Did I get the thermal goggles? No. Am I able to?
Treasury is expanding its
Can I get the
efforts
thermal
to
goggles this
identify
early? I thought I have to wait for
organizations that abuse charitable and nonprofit structures as vehicles for illicit finance. We are examining where tax-exempt status has been exploited, where charitable entities have become financial conduits for foreign influence activity, and how those entrusted with stewardship of these organizations have instead enabled violence. Where the evidence leads, we will not hesitate to follow. And of course, we will hold these organizations, officers, directors accountable.
No,
and
I'm
just
playing
as
the game.
financial institution must know their clients, they must know their grantees. That work is well underway. In the fall, the United States designated 4 far-left Antifa extremist groups abroad as foreign terrorist organizations, denying them access to the U.S. financial system and depriving them of resources they need to carry out attacks. Meanwhile, in this administration alone, OFAC has also sanctioned 17 sham charities and nonprofit organizations for funding Hamas's terrorist activities and operations.
God, fucking shit. I thought that one
continues to map and disrupt the flow of funding that enables these entities to operate. No terror organization should delude itself into the belief that its financing lies beyond our reach. No facilitator should assume that anonymity confers impunity, and no jurisdiction should expect to enable or harbor these activities without consequence. To be clear, in the fight against domestic terrorism, we must respect the constitutional rights, freedom of speech, association, and assembly of all Americans. As such, it is important to emphasize that Treasury will act based on suspected unlawful conduct by these terror organizations, not because of their beliefs or ideologies. At Treasury, this work is mission critical, but we cannot do it alone. The threat is transnational. Our response must be no less so. Indeed, our cooperation must be as disciplined as the networks we seek to dismantle. The global financial system is one of the great achievements of the modern world, and we never must allow it to become a sanctuary for those who seek to subvert it. So on behalf of the United States Treasury, let there be no uncertainty about the work before us and the resolve with which we will undertake it. We will identify illicit funding, however artfully it is concealed. We will dismantle the networks that sustain political terrorism, however respectable their fronts may be. We will pursue those who enable political violence, however distant their jurisdictions, and we will deepen our collaboration with every nation represented in this room for as long as this work requires. This is our commitment, and we ask.
Oh, somebody's back. Yeah, this isn't politically motivated statement is causing a lot of people to ask questions about political motivations of my statements. Hello. Okay, wait. Iris. Was it Iris? It just fucking goes all the way down now. I don't, if you said something in the chat, I did not see it. I am trying to scroll back up. Am I not seeing it in the chat? Are you on? There we go. Okay. The use of tankyism and Stalinism comes to mind when it comes to separating oneself from the socialism projects. Are you calling me a tanky or a Stalinist? Or are you saying I talk against tankies and Stalinists? Yeah, also tanky means so much shit. I tire of this man. I think the chatter's still there. They're saying I diss tankies. I mean, like, I have problems with some tankies. But, like, we were literally just talking about how problems between vague leftist movements and progressive movements shouldn't be prohibiting us from working together. I was literally just saying that. I mean, was that, Iris, was that literally the only problem you have with me? Gray Geiger, tanky feels like a way to critique communism without having the baggage of sounding like a conservative. I feel like it is almost a conservative, a leaning way to talk about anybody progressive. Like it was the same thing. One of the things I kept hearing when I was doing the Destiny research and Destiny's fucking circles is that literally any progressive, it doesn't matter if they're DSA, it doesn't matter if they are the fucking, buy off the Walmart shelf DSA, the most basic version of progressive politics, entryism that you can have in America, they will still call them a fucking tanky. Like, it's kind of like the same way Republicans use Marxist, communist, socialist, all this other shit. None of them know what it actually fucking means. And so at a certain point, it almost becomes pointless to argue it because they don't care. So, like, kind of why should you? Oh, you are a bad but not a fan. You said that a one-state solution will be the Nakba to Israelis and that it shouldn't be done. That was a little yikesy. Did I say that 2 years? No. Hey, knock it off. Come here. Did I say that 3+ years ago and change? And was it a poorly worded statement? Yes. Did I mean that it would be the Nakba to do it? No. Because the Nakba is already the Nakba. I also don't believe I ever said a one-state solution. And now I'm pretty sure, well, one-state solution not being to unite Israel and Palestine. One-state solution being Palestinian reclamation of the land. Like, I straight up don't think Israel should exist now. So I would say that my politics have moved on a little bit since I made that video. There's a reason the video isn't up anymore. Yeah, exactly. Christian Garcia. At this point, tankies, anarchists, libs, oh, no, sorry. No, you said anarchist twice. I was like, wait, no. Anyway. Furries, bronies, etc. All this aimed at them. Yeah. It's the thing. I wish more people were fucking paying attention to the Prairie Land defense over. Because I saw so many people being like, yeah, no, they're anarchists. It's like, but it doesn't matter. They are being delineated as progressives. They are being depicted as the same way they depict the brunch moms who go out to the No Kings protests. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, y'all need to step up for somebody on your side. Even if you fucking disagree with them. Even if you fucking don't like them. Ugh. Lefty McLefterson, tankies aren't worth arguing about. True. There are Maoist Leninists like Bana Banana, but it's kind of pointless. I wouldn't even call him a Maoist Leninist. Like, I wonder if he's ever even read the theory to call himself a Maoist Leninist. Anarchist derogatory. Yeah, exactly. Like, and you still see that shit from people, even in more left spaces, of like shitting on anarchists, like, oh, babies first progress. And that's the thing that pisses me off, is the idea of drawing these lines and everybody wanting to be fucking condescending instead of trying to help each other, instead of trying to learn a little bit, instead of trying to fucking bridge these gaps. Because when you get right down to it, the gaps between somebody who's a tanky, somebody who's a Maoist Leninist, somebody who are not always tankies, somebody who's a fucking like progressive DSA candidate, like whatever. When you get right down to it, a lot of the differences in those beliefs, they stem from the same place, and that is wanting a better world than the one we have. And I feel like instead of being so fucking divided on the ways that we stand apart, I don't fucking understand why more people aren't focused on the things that tie us together. BE is getting really close to white supremacy. BE is a big Che guy. Okay, but is he a big Che guy because he actually believes in like uplifting and tearing down old systems and replacing them with something better? Or is he a big Che guy because he sees it as a way to directly piss off Westerners? I'm not an anarchist, but most anarchists I know are chill. Yeah, I've never met an anarchist that wasn't like relatively chill, and also like pretty chill about their beliefs too. I feel the more you get into people you would call a tanky, the more you get into those Maoist Leninists, like then people get a little bit more of a stick up their ass. The gaming archaeologist, to be honest, I'm still not sure what I identify myself as in the political arena. I just want to improve the world we live in. That's honestly, like, and I've talked about this too, is that like we can talk all day about like what labels mean, what they don't mean, where we go from here with, you know, all that shit. But at a certain point, and people have talked about this before. I've had a lot of people say like, oh, are you a socialist? Do you call yourself a communist? And it's not that I haven't read theory. It's not that I don't agree with anything or because I disagree with certain things in any movement or platform. It's that I think orthodoxy of really any kind is anathema to genuine progress. I think there are certainly things that we can look at and glean from even certainly Stalinism, you know, Leninism and all this other stuff. Marxism, of course. But I don't think it's useful to, before any kind of revolution, before any kind of plans are drawn up, before any kind of elections are won, to put ourselves in these little boxes of saying, I am this, and I will not change from this. Because again, somebody was talking about earlier, I genuinely feel that change is the natural state of life. Like, life is a constant sense of change. And you can either atrophy or you can try to improve. And I think the best way politically to try and improve is to, like I was saying earlier, come together over the things that unite us rather than divide us. Like, really work out the fucking issues later, y'all. Snow said, thank you for $5. I hate performative MLs like BE. Black Panthers were Maoists, and they were based not because they were Maoist-Leninists, because they did shit for people. Yeah, that's where I, like, come down on more, is that, like, I'll fucking support the Black Panthers any day. They want to call themselves Maoist-Leninists? Sure, absolutely. Because when you get right down to it, they were a genuine threat to the system because they were picking up the slack where the system had completely failed. And they were forming support systems that threatened the actual government. They were so afeared of them that the FBI assassinated Fred Hampton. We know that. In broad fucking daylight. And culture just go, like, that's one of those things that you think about and you're like, God damn, no, culture just keeps fucking going. Huh. Like, the FBI really infiltrated and assassinated a political leader who was uniting people and helping to provide for people in his community, in other communities, building genuine support networks. They fucking murked him. And people still act like there's any semblance of normalcy to be found in this system. It's fucking bonkers to me. El Salve, thank you for $2. I wish the trans mafia was real to protect trans. Me too. Jackie Sins, thank you for $2. Hey, Jackie Sins, I haven't seen you in a minute. Hashtag Trantifa. El Salve, thank you very much, $5. Come on, Tankies and DD fans, don't fight. This is what Trump wants. There we go. Gaming archaeologist, thank you for 5 years. This is why my friend from America is seeking asylum here in the UK when it was meant to be a holiday. As a trans woman, she's afraid of being targeted. Ugh. I've had here in Spokane, Washington, there's been some kind of fucking scary shit lately. There was here, let's talk about this real quick before I go. Just in your daily come on. Stay safe out there bullshit. Fuck you. Hilliard coffee stand sign draws criticism and First Amendment questions in Spokane. Now, this maybe it'll be here. Hang on.
Right now, the city of Spokane is offering perspective on an inflammatory sign spotted outside of a bikini barista in Spokane's Hilliard neighborhood. We've blurred out a portion of the sign because the word that's used on it could be considered a slur against.
Did they get the gay guy to do this? Did they say, "Hey, the story is about the gays. Get the gay in here"?
People with developmental and intellectual disabilities. We have received several messages into the newsroom about the sign today, asking whether or not this kind of speech is allowed. There have also been several Facebook posts.
Is that that? Oh, okay. I don't know where that is necessarily. Huh. Yeah, so this is a coffee stand. It's a barista, one of those titty barista coffee stands that said trans women are r-slurred men here in Spokane. If in case y'all are wondering what it's like to be trans in Spokane, is that you could just drive down the street and see a business doing that shit. This was, by the way, same day. My partner was at the local gay bar and somebody threw a brick through the window. And that, I don't think that's something that's been covered yet by, which hard to verify if it's a like hate crime thing, but the fact that it was a fucking brick through the window of the biggest gay bar in Spokane. Nehemia, I think for $5. Also, Bad Banana has a video up about going on r/Jewish to learn about anti-Semitism. He has far too much of a kind of oppositional defiance thing, I think, to really keep doing this as his job. Like, he is so... He doesn't take criticism well. Like, I've tried fucking... when I did have a last conversation with him, he just kind of left me alone since then. But like, he doesn't like to genuinely engage is the thing I get from him, which sucks. Cause like as many other people have noted, he has a talent for, presenting information and doing research, but he has such a fucking stick up his ass about every other aspect of the kind of job that he's taken upon himself. Anyway.
Several Facebook posts condemning the sign. The first time, or this is not the first time we've seen something like this happen at Second Base Espresso. It's not the first time we've seen a sign of theirs catch attention. We reached out to the Spokane City Council member who represents the area, Sarah Drexit, and the office of the mayor. Drexit told us that her staff has referred the sign to law enforcement to check to see if it violates any public decency laws. The mayor's office responded via a spokesperson saying, quote, "Well, we do not condone this type of messaging. It is our understanding."
Yeah, let's cut the conversation. Well, I'm gonna finish watching this and I'm gonna log off. So I will cut the conversation short as it is. FD Signifier, God bless FD, and to a lesser degree, Noah Samson. Like, I still like Noah, but like Noah having BE on and like trying to really... God bless FD for fucking trying, because I know they really did try. Jessica Rabbit, thank you for subscribing. Oh, hell yeah. I'm a big fan of your work. Is Banana Brains in chat? I want to see. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Nope. Nope. Economic prisoner. It sucks that hate speech is protected by the First Amendment. I mean, no, because the problem is that hate speech is incredibly broad. And this is look, if we could live in a just society, sure, everybody can say what they want. But the problem is we live in a society where people favor... I'm not going to go into it right now. All right, let's go... Let's go say hi to Carolyn. Well, do we want to go say hi to Carolyn Kwan? Let's go say hi to Carolyn Kwan. Caroline was kind enough to watch one of our videos on stream a little while ago. So please go like, go follow, and stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to try and have a video up by Monday on the whole debacle, but I've been doing a lot of script writing and screenplay. Oh, great news, by the way. I had another meeting for scouting a location for the film I'm working on. And I think I've got another location locked down, and it is way bigger and better than I thought it could be. So that's kind of put some wind in my sails. But thank you all very, very much. Go say hi to Caroline for me. Go like, subscribe, do all the things. Stay tuned to the channel, and we will see y'all very soon.